Spoon, spoon television. Spoon, spoon, spoon radio station.
Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Liberia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Monrovia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Africa. Just to spoon you will know. If the children crying for starvation, just to spoon. You want to get a news update, my brother, to spoon. You want to know what is happening, moreover, to spoon. Politicians want to make their decision, just to spoon. You want to know what's happening in the ministry, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. You from Funjama, Maryland, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. If you eat kepa, congratulate my brother, to spoon. You got a spoon TV, you got a spoon radio, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. What? Yeah, Rastafari. Kilibamba, 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 kilibamba. What I want? Yes, what you about today?
Spoon TV.
Yes, what you about today?
Spoon TV. Spoon Spoon entertainment. On the spoon to get your information. On the spoon to be spoon television. Spoon radio station.
Yes, I, a special one from the CEO, stand coming with the spoon. And your boy, Friday the South Man, charges on the beat.
On the spoon to get your information. On the spoon to be part of our discussion. Spoon television. Spoon radio station.
Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Liberia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Monrovia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Africa. Just to spoon you will know. If the children crying for starvation, just to spoon. You want to get a news update, my brother, to spoon. You want to know what is happening, moreover, to spoon. Politicians want to make their decision, just to spoon. You want to know what's happening in the ministry, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. You from Funjama, Maryland, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. If you eat kepa, congratulate my brother, to spoon. You got a spoon TV, you got a spoon radio, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. What? Yeah, Rastafari. Kilibamba, 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 kilibamba. What I want? This one you got today.
School TV.
This one you got today.
School TV. School
Okay, so this is Spoon FM 107.5, and this I'd like to welcome you to the today. That's the Spoon Talk. Almost said it today's show. Good evening and welcome to the Spoon Talk here. Wherever you are and whatever you are doing, it's now time to be informed. It's now time to get a very interesting analysis about, trending major happenings in the country. And so this evening, my name is Yekezi Zwobel, sitting in as your sound coordinator till later time. Let's now cross over to the team. Dr. Richardson and James Goodday Flomo to begin the program. Good evening.
How you doing?
I'm okay.
James, how you doing?
Come on, me, we can't complain.
You can see pronounce your last name again.
Zwogbe.
The way you're sounding, you were too serious, you were too correct.
You don't even know how to call your own name. His name is Zwogbe.
You man now, or you Lama man? You don't want to tell me that,
That man won't be like somebody who live in New York. The real pronunciation for his name is Zwogbe.
Why you got Lama name? You only got James Goodday.
Hey, my name is James Samuel Yapaulo Flomo.
But
you don't use your Yakpaulo name. Now, right now, you're your Yakpaulo name.
You see?
But you just come in.
No, I just enjoy.
When you go to Lofa, they call me Wednesday.
Wednesday. What Wednesday means?
No, not Wednesday. It's Wednesday.
I will pronounce it the way I know I pronounce it, Wednesday. Yeah, what I mean? You're talking to a boss. Anyway, let's talk. You can see how you doing today.
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay. Thank God.
Okay, that's good. How's the Christmas season?
Yeah, the Christmas season
I'm back.
Is good.
Mm-hmm. So Wednesday.
That Loma name, Wednesday.
Sorry, I'll pronounce it the way I pronounce it. When Kabi come on and say Wednesday, get out of the room. How my mind will tell me. Yeah, so how everything?
Okay, complain. The moderator is now on.
Okay, Tamale, you here? Oh, how are you doing?
I will miss Kev to now.
Hey, how are you, man?
Kev coming, but I'll miss his action. He's not moderating.
You can see, good day, Dr. Richardson. How you guys doing?
How you doing? Our diplomat is here. Yeah. Timothy is here. How you doing, Timothy? All right?
Yeah, I'm bad. How's everybody doing at the end? The Christmas is in the air, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Timothy, you ready for Christmas already? Me, I'm ready, yo.
Oh, I'm ready, man. I spent too much money this Christmas. So,
you lucky. At least on Christmas, you got to imagine in my household, my husband got to buy birthday and Christmas for everybody, 3 daughters.
And this time the children and the kids now, you can't, that Santa Claus thing, you can't work with the children.
Money there. You talk about electronics.
They'll tell you what gift they want. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's the meaning there of my name.
Stranger, you stranger in your time?
That's the meaning of my name in Loma.
Stranger?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, the children they want expensive gifts here. everybody, my own, I giving this year. I told everybody I'm giving them gift card with money on it. I'm bringing her my head to buy gifts for anybody. I'll just give you money that hey, cash app. That's it. That all we do. Yeah. So go ahead.
So guys, what I guess you on the ground, man. Tell me what happened in Liberia. I know let me just you can tell me feeling me, but I know I heard about Mr. Jeremiah Coon became the DRM political leader today.
Yeah.
Election Commission issue a new voter registration process or schedule. And Mr. Cummings had a press conference today too. And what happened from the government side? What's from the government side?
Basically the president announcing graduation of a 117 that's 76 soldiers from the armed forces of Liberia. As we know, earlier this year 1,000 individuals were recruited to join the armed forces of Liberia. So following 12 weeks of training, initial training, there will be the president has announced their graduation. So they will be graduating very soon. And like you said, the MDR elected Jeremiah Coon of Nema County, Senator Coon, as the new standard bearer. And Senator Prince Johnson will be going on the ticket as senator comes 2023 instead of as a standard bearer. And the next today set March 20, 2023 as the new date for the biometric voters registration. And the process was categorized into 2 phases. So phase 1 will begin on the 20th of March 2023 and will last for 3 weeks and will end on the 9th of April 2023. And phase 2 will begin on the 21st of April 2023 and will last for 3 weeks as well and ends on the 11th day of May. So during the phase 1, certain counties will be covered, like Montserrado, Margibi, Grand Bassa, Bombing, Grand Cape Mount, and Gbapulu will be covered for phase 1. And for phase 2, Riverses, Sano, Grand Cru, Maryland, River G, Grand Gita, Nimba, Bonk, and Lofa counties will be covered according to the NEC. You are muted.
So just for voter registration?
Pardon? Yeah.
All that date for voter registration?
Yeah, just for the biometric voter registration.
Also, so they're gonna do biometric still?
Yeah.
Wow. Who's the press officer for the election commission? Is still Henry Flomo?
Yeah, it is still Henry Flomo.
Well, so that all the news in Liberia?
Yeah, basically
Christmas fever.
The Christmas fever. Well, comparing it to previous years, I would say the momentum for the Christmas, for the festive season as a whole, it continues to drop. It continues to decline. Usually a few years back, at this time during the festive season, when you go to the market, especially the Red Light or right now Omega, if you should go there, the entire area will be overcrowded. You go Douala, that's the same thing. You go to town, that's the same thing. Even you can tell from, the level of traffic congestion, that is on the road. But that's not the case right now. That euphoria has, to some extent, declined.
Wow! And what's the rate in Liberia today?
The rate, if you go to the South World Money Exchanges, the rate is 150.
150.
Yeah.
And then lastly, before I go to Dr. Richardson and good day, I heard something about the banks out of money. People can you give me an update about the banks and money, or the bank issue of banks and money? No money in the banks, or what, to cash check, or what?
Well, it's something that I've been hearing, but I can't confirm that now because I've not been able to go to the banks to ascertain as to whether the banks are out of money or people are not being given money that they want from the bank.
Thank you, Yakasi. Good day, Dr. Richardson. You guys can cue in and give updates from your end and what you guys hearing today that's trending.
I first want to just welcome all of our audience, our viewers, wherever you are today. It's great to have you here on the show on Spoon Network. I'm looking forward to a spirited conversation today. I heard, Mr. Cummings give a speech today, so hopefully we'll have an opportunity to explore the speech, look at some of the pros and cons of this speech. I also just hearing from Yegazi that if Jeremiah Cohn is now the new MDR leader, so we can also explore some of Mr. Cohn's contributions he had made as senator of Nima-Kante. It would be great to talk about that and what is coming, what is expected of him as the new leader, and what becomes of Prince Johnson, and what, the composition of the party right now would be awesome for us to explore as well. And we can kind of talk about some of the concerns of the Liberian people. How are they making out given the Christmas season? Is it atypical? Is it typical of our Christmas celebration? So those are some of the things that I'm looking forward to us talking about today.
Good day.
Yeah, how are you, sir? Would I? Oh, okay. He's going in the back.
Go minding me, so you can talk. Yeah, give me anything trending in your east.
No, nothing trending. Yeah, guess you already talking. I just Cummings spoke today. At least he said what he had to say. Like I predicted that he was going to come to react to the president. He did. We are awaiting Sunday to come. Maybe President Wiatu will react to him. Because
from a pulpit?
Yeah, possible. That's the best place where the president can speak to us, except when he's attending a national event. So we hope that the president will react, and it will not be like the way he did it the last time.
Why?
Like the way he went high on the opposition community.
That wasn't hard. That was just talking about how people behavior, look, and appearance as opposed to substance that we should be dealing in the country. I don't think that was.
And finally today, Cummings also responded to President Weah when Weah said why Cummings has not spoken as it relates to his security officer carrying weapon to a protest ground. Cummings said nobody's stupid here. The president said we should get CCTV camera to protect ourselves.
That was funny.
Yeah. So basically, Cummings was telling us that nobody's stupid here. He's protecting himself because the president said we should do everything to protect ourselves. But he said he's awaiting the funding, and after that, he will officially respond. But nobody's stupid here.
But I think he also mentioned that threats were issued by the city, the mayor of the city. So that was mentioned by the mayor of the city.
Yeah, so that answer alone, it left many people wondering whether Cummings gave his security the instruction to carry a weapon because of the threat and the advice, quote unquote advice that came from the president that we should get CCTV camera.
It's just that Liberia, the country that we find ourselves in, like in America, I think television can bear me off. Whenever into election, that when you start to get attention, like for instance, the way most of the time the Cummings is coming on an attack from all angles, especially from the government. Most of the government people attacking him. Usually, when you start getting every presidential candidate has the security detail, they have the intelligence. They'll tell them, say, well, based on intelligence, they'll go to the Secret Service and ask them, say, we're getting too much threats coming, and they provide them security. That's what's been happening in the country. When Bernie Sanders was running, and they realized that he was gaining a lot of popularity, they immediately assign a Secret Service a detail and so forth. So by right, I think the government, the resources, maybe they forgot resources, but if the political leaders are supposed to come to the Joint Security and say, look, we're running election, we are candidates, we need protection. If the government's not able to get a protection, they ask them, say, well, we have our private security detail, and there will be the request for, if they will carry firearms, request for it, the government register it, and they all documented, so that in case that arm is formed with anyone else, they will say, oh, it came from the ARP security detail, or it came from the CPP security detail, so that like that, everybody is covered, no problem. But
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Yes, they have it. The election law calls for it. I think around section 10. I may not quote a specific section. They have it that all political leaders are entitled to police officers. But this is the issue. Opposition political leaders will only request for security officers or police officers when they are conducting rally. All of them, I think that the law says that they should be assigned to 2 officers, and also all lawmakers, not just political leaders, all lawmakers as well. They should be assigned to these security officers, or these security officers should be assigned to them. But most of them, this is the point. I attend election coverage training. What most of them always do, they believe that when those security officers are on them, they are serving as, spy or whatever. So they don't really go for them. Most people who you see benefiting from this immunity are pro-government lawmakers or opposition leaders. Those are people who you see them. If you have been seeing, for instance, you will see police officers assigned with the former VP, though he's a former vice president, but the law also calls for it that he should have it, and including Cummings. So the law is there. It is clear in the election law, but they don't really ask for it. I'm thinking whether Cummings ever asked for it. So for him, I can't confirm whether he asked for it or not. But the law is there. It is clear, and they benefited from it so many times. I attended an event where state security officers were assigned to Mr. Cummings throughout that event.
Well, welcome, Kev Hassan. Welcome. Good to see you again. Well, anyway, we pray and hope that the political parties and the stakeholders can come to some understanding and to address the issue of the security. And if they will have a personal security detail, they can do it through the Justice Ministry. Councillor Dean is a reasonable man. I'm sure he will see reason to have them have security detail registered with the government of Liberia, so that wherever, if you travel with any stuff, weapon or so, the government can be aware and know what they take the information of the weapon, so that just in case, if that weapon end up somewhere else, they know exactly where it's coming from, so that people can be protected. But if you have an arm that is not registered, you know that it's unlicensed arm, and you're not licensed to carry a gun. It's against the law. So, but we pray and hope that it will find a solution to that issue and resolve it as soon as possible. But we look forward to the investigation, the outcome of the investigation concerning the fellow with the arm. But Kev, welcome, and your thoughts on just the issue. We didn't talk, just a quick roundup of what happened in the day. We talk about the president attending the military graduation, and also Cummings press conference, and also Jeremiah Cohn becoming the new leader of the MDR, as well as the election commission come up with a new schedule for voter registration.
Yeah. Let me say hi to you guys. Um, I listened some of Mr. Cummings' press conference. I saw the military discussion you guys going on and the news of Jeremiah Combs. But uh, when you guys start talking about the gun, I I remember when we went to JMB and home, we saw police were there, we saw full security there. Uh, so the former vice president carrying state security, and James is right that Mr. Cummings can request for security because he's a standard bearer for the CPP, that he will be given one. But I listened to the press conference. So he claimed um, uh, what we got. He claimed understanding that the security carrying weapon, and that shows that he's above the law. That he's saying, we're not stupid here. We see we should buy CCTV with all that thing. So um, a man who claimed of he talked a lot of system. He talked about system today because when they ask him about people within his team, that he claimed that or people say that they are part of the past. Some of the questions, he said the system, he changing the system, and people will follow the system. Someone question, why is he breaking the law? So is he speaking on both sides of his mouth? Why is he breaking the law, knowing that your bodyguard carrying a weapon, and he's saying, well, nobody's to be here? So I'm trying to kind of reconcile with that and see that you said one thing that the system, we will treat the system, but another thing, you're breaking the law. So how can a lawbreaker fix the country? So that's what I got from his interview today at the press conference.
Well,
Can
that's
I
like,
Can I ask a question? Maybe you
ahead.
guys can
Yeah, go ahead.
clarify. So, do we know what the law is in Liberia as it relates to people carrying weapons? Does anybody know? Maybe that will help clarify things for our audience.
You got to, when you have a weapon, you have to go through the right process. You got to register it like any other country. You got to declare it so they know that I gun for you. But look at this gun. It's a NSA gun, so it's not a regular gun. So he got it illegally, and Mr. Cummings is supporting illegal business, a firearm in the public.
So, my second
But
question, and the reason I'm trying to just get some information because I know that in the United States, where, and unfortunately, I hate to make this reference, but it could be used as an example for how we understand issues. In the United States, weapons laws differ depending on what state you're in. Some state you can carry open weapon. Some states you have to get permit to get concealed weapon. Some states you have to be of sound mind. You have to go and even get a psychological evaluation to get a weapon. So it differs. So, and I know that laws in Liberia is the laws tend to be very not followed well in Liberia because you and I were there. The people who were us had guns. So it makes me wonder where our security register, number one. I've seen other people who have securities at their homes in Liberia. Is that do people just have a blanket registration of security personnel? I've seen rallies. I actually have a picture on my phone that was sent. I'm not sure if I can identify the person, but there was a rally, and there's a picture of someone who has a gun with them. So I'm not saying whether it's right or wrong. I just want to know what's the process, and I have no evidence to say Mr. Cummings supported this security person. I have no evidence. I wouldn't want to say that. I have no evidence to say that. So maybe you can clarify to me, what do you mean by support? Support someone breaking the law and carrying it.
Well, I'm trying. Since the issue came about, I've been trying to find someone who's well versed in this. Someone with a legal person who knows the laws about Liberia concerning the use of firearms, private citizens, and so forth, or private security. And hopefully we'll get the person on by next week or so, and the person will be able to give us some guidance and about the issue concerning the usage and access to firearms. Because I know I know that when we were in Firestone, my dad was chief of security there. He had the security had arms. He carried arms with him all the way into Monrovia and so forth. So I know there's certain laws that is just a process to follow. But
normally you have to register the gun if you have gun. Liberia
of recent,
it's a process to follow.
Yes.
Process. So Liberia is not an open carry state. It's not an open carry state. So let's take
of recent, the Commission on Small Arms in a press conference announced that ordinary citizens will not be allowed to carry firearm now. People who are just allowed to carry firearm are hunters and state securities.
So what about private security?
I said state security, many private security not allowed.
Not allowed. Well, we got to get some clarification on it, and then maybe the investigation that's on, they will give us more understanding about the whole thing. So look forward to the investigation. Hopefully, we get about it.
Sorry, so good day. Just to clarify again, and I see somebody saying, "Oh, Dr. Richardson, you have a PhD. Why don't you research the law in Liberia?" How funny, ridiculous.
How they can do research?
Exactly. And as if to say all of our laws are just floating on the internet somewhere. That you can just find time to do it. But anyway, good day. Do you know if security firms in Liberia? I know Tomlin said that people will come on to speak to us about this, which should be great. So based on what you're saying, even security firms are not allowed to carry guns.
I did private security work when I was in Liberia before, right? I worked with this security firm, GTL. GTL is a renowned security firm in Liberia. Back in high school, I worked with them. All of the security agency in Liberia came together, and they are still calling for it. They came together. They had a meeting. They met with the government. We want you to allow us to get weapons because we are providing security for lives and properties. When I was working with GTL before, one of our compounds where some of my colleagues were assigned, they got attacked. And they injured us seriously. They got injured seriously. So this prompted most security firms in Liberia, or all of them, they came together under one umbrella to petition the government to allow private security agencies to have weapons to places that they are providing security, but the government did not grant them that authorization. I was there. I worked with them before.
Good news. Thank you.
Well, guys, today I want for us to talk about the state of our election in Liberia, the candidates, and the path, the VP picks. I know right now, President Weah, he already got Vice President Taylor. Want to come out to find out which candidates matching them with the VP picks. Like right now, those who are active in the race, we see Tiawan Gonglo, we see Alexander Cummings, we see Joseph Boyka, and so forth. Just to pitch and find out which in pairing, give me your own pairing, you think we get the pathway to the presidency, so forth. So I want your thoughts on it, and looking at each of the candidates, and give your thoughts to see the pathway to the presidency of Liberia, or so forth. Whether by then taking who you think can match, and then the reach to the presidency. whether if they go as plenty opposition, they have a chance or not, or if they go separate, they still have a chance. I want to give your thoughts on it, and let Liberian people participate in it and give their thoughts on it too, because it's all about Liberia. So I want to focus on the candidates in the race today and the Vera picks. So, by the reason, we'll start with you. You got any thoughts about the if you were advising a candidate in opposition, how you pair them, the final which that can make a good pairing, and so forth. I know you are here as that origin. You now you have an ANC or CPB. I know that. So
yeah, thank you for that clarification.
Yeah,
you mean like pairing them with a vice president candidacy?
Yeah, and the pathway.
That's a tough question. I haven't really thought that far yet. I was looking for after the new year to process that. In Liberia, like, okay, without giving a name, I think a female vice president will be beneficial to the country simply because of the population of women being in the majority in the country. Number one. Number two, I believe that women actually are the bedrock for our country in terms of the economy, in terms of maintaining family structure, and they carry a lot of the burden of Liberia. And I think women have a different way of leading. If you put a lot of women in leadership, and maybe the vice president, even though we do have a vice president now, but I actually think continuing that trend and giving in making the vice president role more of a more active role, which I think it can be. I think the Constitution, even though it says the vice president is supposed to preside over the Senate, but I think that there's some latitude for you to be more active, as we're seeing in other parts of the world. So I think a woman, I'm not sure if I'm ready to call the woman's name yet, but I think a woman would be a good choice. Or if you're going to go for a male, I think a younger male, someone who is younger than any of the candidates who are in the race, again, simply for the same reason, a young male will be more attractive to our youth right now, because of course that's another large population in the country. And I think to bring our country up to par to the rest of the world, like digitally, youth employment, giving business opportunities, all of those things that are much needed in the country, I think a wise youth could not in Liberia, I know youth that is only a year old, but a wise younger person, a younger adult, will be able to make a good contribution to the country. But let me hear what everybody else is saying. Maybe if I have something else, I'll add more to that contribution,
Okay.
but not that far.
Okay, but before I go to Kev, let me just welcome the CEO. Welcome, Stanton. Hope everything is good on your end, and happy to see you. But the reason, so you believe that, just before I go to Kev, you believe that like the candidates in the race, you think on the opposition side, you think a female VP will be a plus for them, or to an advantage for them, or
I think an advantage for them, a plus for them.
A female, okay. Kev, what's your thoughts about the? I know you on the ruling side, but just your contribution towards it, but you I know you were not getting a clue about. You want get a good ticket to go against the candidate. So, go ahead.
We cannot talk about. Let me say, I cannot talk about a ticket that is not there. There is no ticket there for Mr. Cummings. Nothing there for Buckeye. 10 months, almost 9 months ago. Nothing there, about this time, you need to get somebody that the people will know, that their message will resonate among people, but there is nothing there to talk. So for me, there is no pathway to either Buckeye or Cummings. I would like to discuss about can Buckeye win Bomi, Nimba, Grand Judah, because the head of the ticket, you can pick all you want to pick, but the head, people look at who they're, the stand-up bearer. So at this moment, when you look at Liberia, you look at all the people there, you ask yourself, for us now, we know that Joel Howard Taylor, and she can carry area. We know that she delivered before, but I can't see anybody in the opposition that any opposition will pick that can deliver. So it's a difficult thing. You get for example, they're talking about, let's say, the Yombly and the Cummings. You look in Basel, right? You get a lot of people there who can grab something there. So she not somebody that can deliver the entire Basel with 90% of the votes. She cannot deliver. So you look around who they can pick that can hold in one single county with 90% of the vote. Look in the entire Liberia. Name me one person that let's say GMB pick would deliver 90% of their vote rich county, because you want to pick somebody who coming from the vote rich county. So let's look around who they can pick that can deliver 90%. Because as we look right now, JMB can no longer deliver 90% in Lofa. He can no longer deliver 90% in Lofa. So that's what we should be looking at. That we can pick. Can somebody say, I'll pick this person, they can deliver 90% of the county.
Don't forget now, is a guaranteed fact that President Weah, Mr. Cummings, Tawan Gongolo, Boyka, and will all be running. They'll be on the ticket. And no matter what we say, they all will have a VP pick. Okay? And if they have a pick, they will campaign in all the counties. They will try to cover the campaign in all the counties that they will be contesting in. And you cannot say the election from 2017 result will be the same thing or 2023. It will be different. Don't forget that you have a government that came to power, been in power for almost 6 years. So the record will be on the ballot. The record will be at stake, and you having people be campaigning against them on the record and the promises they made to deliver in the 6 years that they were given. So, and there's no way you having 4 or 5 candidates in the race and one person will win 90% in a county. That's not possible. So even if you're from that county, you can't tell me you win 90% from that county because you're in the race. You're from that county. So that made the fact that there will be a contested. Each county will be contesting each county, and end of the day, it is the people, depending on your message that you're gonna give, that resonate with the people, that will make them make that choice. But if you campaign hard and convince the people in that area that your message, that you have a message.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Look at all the region where you can pinpoint that the ANC leader is so formidable that era.
But can you get everybody's view first? You know, I didn't know. Ask you a question. You come for my intro.
But man, you're going up and down, man.
Yeah. No, because I told you you sure.
Okay, that's right? Go ahead.
Yeah, wait. So you want me to get out?
Well, maybe you're doing answer one question, then we'll come to you. Finish okay.
Up. But let me put it down. Let me put it down to CEO. So CEO can when he's doing his thing, he can. We know JMB can do his thing in Lofa, one country. Besides Lofa, show me somewhere that JMB can shake Show me somewhere that Cummings can shake. You know that you know the era Cummings will capture this era no matter what. I don't care if he goes second round, but he will capture this era big. We know JMB in Lofa. Can you guys come in there and tell us where besides Lofa where JMB can get big and where Cummings can get big?
Well, before we go to CEO, I mean, don't forget it's an election and people will campaign in every county. And right now, we said here today we cannot determine which county somebody will dominating because every platform, every party got their own political strategy, their own strategy for each county. And we don't know what's in the camp of JMB or Cummings camp. You know, right now we don't know who will join them because as I was telling you guys, there will be cross campaign.
Now.
I mean, but Kev, right now we are not trying. So how will we determine? They have not tried. That anyone in have campaign in the country for me to tell you say, well,
too many you moderating, my man. You get a chance to talk.
But I won't tell Kev that you have been tested before you come out with something.
This thing is how you moderate, my man. You gotta.
Okay, CEO, weigh in about this and the path to the president.
Yeah, but let me greet everybody. I want to say how you doing, Dr. Richardson from MCC CPP, Kev Hassan from CDC, Simon and George from CDC. I want to greet everyone following us. We want to say thank you
George,
on this call. On this, we don't know who you are no more. Independent, inactive, sedition. We just don't know who you are anymore.
Active, independent.
But we want to say greetings to all of our followers. Invite your brothers and sisters. Let's talk Liberia. Kev, your question. I think the former Vice President Joseph Yema Boakai still can win Lofa County. He can win. Give it to him. What happened is lesson learned that CDC won during the election, the by-election, but sedition themselves, and you yourself, you know, Joseph Yema Boakai can win Lofa County. No if and but. So we shouldn't talk about that. It's just clear cut. You go up, you come down, you win a Senate seat, you win a representative seat. Joseph Yema Boakai, former Vice President, he will win Lofa County hands down. Now,
can you put percentage?
Let's talk about.
Can you put a percentage on it?
I think Joseph Yema Boakai, the former Vice President, can win over 75%. I still believe that. Listen, something happened that I know, you know, they know that caused UP to end up losing that election. So let's just move on. Now they have recalibrated Joseph Yema Boakai, except he choose not to be in the race, he will win Lofa. Let's just move on to Cummings. There's an issue about Mr. Cummings. You know, for where I sit, Kefiko, the ANC came so close in Monserrado. We're talking about 2017 election. People want to say, Mr. Cummings, he doesn't have a base. And you're asking for that one county that Mr. Cummings all by himself, not with a vice president, can win, correct? That's what you're asking for, right?
Yeah. Where Mr. Cummings can, what county Mr. Cummings you can go in?
I do believe Mr. Cummings, if this race is about George Banawea, Joseph Yema Boakai, Arizona Cummings, Mr. Cummings can come third in Monserrado. If this race is a two-person race, Mr. Cummings can come second in Monserrado. I'm talking about Monserrado. Any other counties, the remaining 14 counties, I think Mr. Cummings need help. There's not a county he can point to that I can win this county. Mr. Cummings, if he will consider a county his base, at least 70%, he should consider Monserrado. Because there is no way, we are not seeing Mr. Cummings in Maryland, where he's from, because even the senators flip-flop on him. Any other counties out there, Nimba, except wherever he dragged the standard bearer to be for for NDR, Prince Johnson Party, Jeremiah Cohen, except wherein he get Tewan Gunglo to go with him. Then he say, yes, Mr. Cummings can have root in Nimba. Grand Bassa, except wherein Yombly Kanga Lawrence go with Mr. Cummings. Then Mr. Cummings can have root. That's why it's important to see who Mr. Cummings vice president going to be. Mr. Cummings all by himself, he will probably come third in Moserado County. That's my own take on this. So if you ask whether they have that county ain't no connection, that's where I am.
Well, the reason for you coming. But let me say this. Politics is not static, it's dynamic though. And the politics, for instance, what happened 5 years ago, 2017, will be different in 2023. A lot of factors. First of all, you'll be running against a government that have been in power for 5 years. The record will be on the line. And based on the record, the opponents will be trying to define them based on the record. Now, the promises they made when they're on the campaign shows in 2017, they will be saying, well, that for instance, the president could say, well, when I took office, we had maybe 50 doctors in the country. But under my administration, I tripled the amount of doctors in the country now. I tripled them. I gave the Liberian people these doctors, amount of doctors, also healthcare issues. He talked about the mortality, the race, the death rates in the country, so forth. He talked about everything. You bring up, talk with data and say, look, based on these factors, I think I have done well, and I should be reelected. But then the open opposition will define you, your record. Will be coming after you and saying whether the people's lives are better off today than 5 years ago. So you cannot come here and say that the person, because they have not been tested yet recently. We're talking about now, only Boyka and we went that far toward the country. About 5 years ago.
I think I would disagree with you.
Okay.
If you say they have not been tested yet.
Yeah.
Everyone that in this race have been tested.
Yeah, but I'll say
every one of them that we know, they have been tested.
When last were tested?
Though, so let me finish with this one, and we need to get it straight.
Okay.
Though they have not been tested yet about you being a president, but some way, somehow, they have been tested by being a leader for the political party, the organization, the community they live in, the work they have done for common Liberia. They have gone through that test. For example, Tewan Gunglo, he have a record. He was persecuted. He have a record that he went to jail. You know his story. He suffered under one regime to another regime. He advocated for human rights. He fought the system. He bear the scars. You know that. You know the history of Tewan Gunglo more than I do. That's his test. He went through it. Jose Imambuaka have been tested. Former vice president, LPMC bus, LPRC, agriculture ministry, and president for the Senate. You know that he went through it. For 12 years, he have a record that Liberian people can look back to. Let's talk about George Manawea, who is there right now. He's going through it. Senator, Moserado County, and everything else he's doing right now. Let's talk about Mr. Cummings. People want to run on Mr. Cummings' record. But what is happening now? One, from the CPP, that was a test of leadership that someone can look onto and say, oh, Mr. Cummings did extremely well, or Mr. Cummings did extremely bad. That's test of Mr. Cummings' leadership. The ANC today, everything they're going through, some of the folks will not want to hear it, but that test of Mr. Cummings' leadership, how he handled the gun issue, and I know you're going to come there, when he spoke about the gun issue today during the press conference, how he handled, or how he will handle the 70,000 that got missing from the organization, how he will handle the little issues that happen in the party, bringing up the Musability and leaving Young Belief with the Liberty Party. Those are leadership that the Liberian people will look onto and say, if he can handle these things like this, how will he handle the country situation? So these guys have been tested, St. Tuan and George, though they have not taken power constitutionally, but they have been tested. Okay. So let's just get it straight if you say they have not been tested. Okay. And that's why I throw in the point though.
But then you come to this way now. among all the people you call, which one of them have handled a budget of more than $1 billion? First of all, we'll come to that point. Cummings will argue, say,
if you ask the question, we can go around because I think that the richest want to speak.
I'll into the question there. He will ask the question, who have handled a budget of more than $1 billion? Number one. And have been audited by international auditing firm and came out clean. Also, two, during his leadership of the CPP, he won more seats in the Senate. In the opposition side, he gave them more seats. They won more seats in the legislature. And then, through it all, based on all the tax he will say I've been going through, I'm still standing. I'm still moving towards my goal of becoming.
I don't want this to be between you and myself, but let me ask you this: that the richest are making. Because somebody making some point here.
Yeah.
So if someone come to you, Mr. George, give us the positive and negative of any one of those leaders. I hope you can make this a question for everybody.
Yeah.
Because you are talking about only the good part of this Cummings leadership. CPP won a lot of seats under Cummings leadership. There was no breakup. He turned over successfully. Mr. Cummings ran Coca-Cola, $1 billion company. Mr. Cummings gets a track record of X, Y, and Z. But give us the chance to, and also talk about the downsides of Mr. Cummings and let the people decide. Because I do believe when you talk about tests, all these guys have been tested since Tomorrow and George. And the Liberian people got to know, and they will decide faithfully. That's just my 2 cents.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so when I think about being tested, I see that in sort of different levels of testing. There's a different test that one carries out if you are just an administrator of your political party versus if you are the leader of a country. Okay. And you were in a campaign and you made campaign promises to the people of Liberia. You said, if I'm elected, I'm going to provide you good health care. I'm going to go provide you a better education. I'm the better person. So if we're talking about that kind of test, and you were given the opportunity to lead the people because George Weah went through the test and the people selected him last time. The question I think that somebody was saying, did he deliver on that test? That is going to come into play. During the past election, that didn't come into play because he was not the leader. He was being looked at as somebody who maybe was a celebrity football player. He came, he said, I had the Liberian people at heart. Now he's in the driver's seat. And the people will ask, what have you done for Liberia? What have you done for me? He has the greatest record than any other candidate because he is the one in charge right now. He is the one that is being held accountable to the Liberian people and for the tax money and the donors. Yes, Mr. Cummings is telling them, this is what I can do better. I will be able to manage your money better. I'll be able to provide a better healthcare system. I'll be able to connect with you with other international countries to be able to get resources for our country. That's what he's telling them. George Weah has tried to do that and he's failed. We've seen that. We are actually watching this happening. We've seen how our country have degenerated to the place where we can't even pass the MCC test and get benefits from. We see how it has degenerated, where the role of a president, has degenerated, where he can leave the country and go away for 49 days and come back and people celebrate him, where this is unheard of in other parts of the world. And, I'm sure we're going to explore, we can take it step by step as to how are these leaders contributing. We can talk about Joseph Boakai. We can say that Mr. Boakai was in leadership for 12 people say 12 years, or some people say more than that. And you can ask, what did Mr. Boakai contribute? And I know the argument, the old argument that some of his supporters will come and say, oh, he was just the vice president. Okay, but what advice did he give to the president? What is he offering now? And you're right, Stanton, when you say he was tested as the leader of CPP. What did he do during his leadership? We saw the CPP fell apart. What did Mr. Cummings do as the leader of CPP? We saw that they got senators elected under the banner of the CPP. Okay, and we can say, okay, we can also discuss what are the shortcomings. The shortcomings, Mr. Cummings is not in the driver's seat right now. That's a shortcoming. So we do not know, just like we didn't know how Judge Weah was going to be as a leader, and the people elected him. I'm sorry, I just got interrupted by one of the daughters. So, and let's look at numbers. I think Tomali, you said something right. There's this fallacy that we have in our country that numbers are kept in some bank or somewhere where they will just pull out when they come out for the next election. No, it doesn't happen that way. In Montserrat County, it's just simple thing. George Weah got 48%, Boca got 27%, Cummings got 10% in the last elections. Now, the reason we can clearly say George Weah got 48% because he wasn't tested. The people had not given him the trust of running the country. Now, is he still going to get that 48%? It remains to be seen. Okay, I won't say that he definitely can win. I won't say because the numbers are not just the dynamic, they change, they're fluid. So I would say that he got the 48%. But the people didn't know that he was going to fail them in a way that he's not providing, in a way that he would leave the country, in a way that would get rice crisis. The people did not know that. The people didn't know that they were going to have rice insecurity. People didn't know that they were going to have this corruption scandal going on at Legis that he can't talk about. The people didn't know that we're going to have 3 of his top officials sanctioned. They didn't know all of that. Now, all of those things are on the record for Liberian people to assess.
Okay, Chami.
Oh my goodness. One of the problems that people sometimes we who running against the government, some of the things they feel that the people of Liberia not that smart. And when I listen to the opposition, they feel like maybe these people are not, but make no mistake, the people, they're very, very intelligent, very, very smart. Not the people there who post on Facebook talking all the noise. So I'm talking about people who out there. Listen to the opposition. Tomlin, you said, oh, on the president record. Let me tell you, Tomlin, if opposition plan to win this election based on, in any country, based on the misstep of a ruling government, then you don't have a message. You don't. The people want to know what you, Tomlin George, going to do for them. You listen to JMB, you listen to Cummings today. All Cummings were doing the government at this, the government at that, the government at that. But what are you going to do for them? And how? Give us the know-how. Let know. Oh, I'm going to raise the budget to 1 billion. How? I'm going to do this. How? We are saying now we know how the Ghanaian economy is crashing down because what the government invested in, the people cannot afford it. Oh, I will come, I will do this, calling all the big things. But how? Mr. Cummings is not explaining how. And the reason I'm calling your name because JMB, I'm not hearing too much coming out. Will JMB come out? We'll scrutinize what JMB is saying. But as for now, Mr. Cummings come out press conference every week. But what we hearing Mr. Cummings saying, CEO, the government not doing this, the government not doing this. What are you doing? You should be the alternative. So if you're going to base your election on your opponent's misstep, you don't have a message. Basically, what it's saying is that the Liberian people are not smart enough. So I want to hear the surrogates of the ANC or JMB. You tell the Liberian people, what can you do differently? How can you bring this? Oh, I'll bring investor. Oh, investor, if I'm not president, investor will not come. My question to you guys, CEO, I know you can be next. With everything that JMB saying, Cummings saying, including a press conference today, did you hear anything in that press conference that he proposed and be specific? And I use the word specific. Go in there and tell us how he will make this country better than using, well, oh, the steel, oh, the this, oh, the that. Anything, can anybody, the ANC, Dr. Richardson here, you tell us how can ANC political leader can make the lives of the people better and different. Tell me how. Don't tell me how he will make the budget 1 billion. Tell me how.
Can I just ask one question, Tomali? I just want to make a clarification. I think I think that we will serve our audience better if we don't say the Liberian, we think the Liberian people are stupid, or one political party think the Liberian people are stupid. Nobody said that here at all. I think all of the political parties respect Liberian people because they are their voters. They are our fellow cousins, brothers, and fellow citizens of Liberia. So I don't think I want that message to go out and say, oh, Liberian people, one political party think that the Liberian people stupid, and one political party do not think the Liberian people stupid. So I just want to clarify that. But if you want to ask why and how, I can give you some information on that. But I'll be quiet because I want to give you guys the opportunity.
Okay, before I go to the CEO, but let me just say, if you have followed all the candidates this year, Taiwan Gonglo, JMB, and Cummings, they have several discussions about how they are giving their vision for the country.
Let me hear some, Tommy. Let me hear some.
But Kev, you can go back to the.
No. I'm not. Tell me somewhere.
I'm just telling you that what I've heard. I heard from all of them.
You're saying you hear them. You say you heard them, right? You say you heard them.
I come in now. Taiwan talk about his vision for Liberia, what he would do better than the present government.
Tell me how. The same thing. You heard it.
But Kev, I'm saying that the three of them have said they are giving their vision and what they will do better than the present government. For instance, an example. For example, I'll give you Taiwan say every 3 months, I think every 3 months, he'll do what they call performance audit. You will come up and he will check you if you declare your asset, and he found after 3 months they check you and found out if you're accumulating a wealth that you cannot prove. You prove it.
He can bring bread and butter on the table.
Yeah, but he has said he will cut down waste.
Give me.
Kev, you coming out though? Hey, Kev, I already told you. We have heard JMB, we have heard Tiawan, we have heard Cummings. They are giving their vision and agenda for the country. So we have heard it several times how to do better. So that's something for me to come at and go back. If you want to check it, go on the pages, go on the website.
See, that's the problem there.
But Kat, let the men moderate now.
Yeah.
Let everybody talk.
The thing. So my thing is that you were talking about earlier. You're talking about the record and so forth. So now, example, will you say the president, the CDC record, right? The record of CDC, what they ran on. Will you say they have accomplished it? They have they have accomplished the record they ran on. What they said they're going to do. I mean, can you speak on it?
You asking me?
Yeah, asking you.
Oh, you asking me?
Yeah, you asking you. Yeah.
Yeah, but let me just go back a little bit on when you were talking about you and Kev.
Yeah.
Guys, let's just be sincere. Let's just be upfront and real with the Liberian people. Like my old man, Sam Jackson would say, if I begin to say they will cost my something C again, let's see or what see that a business. But let's just be serious. Mr. Cummings need to do more. Mr. Cummings need to triple down. As everything remains today, St. Thomas and Josh, I will be very honest with you. because only your good friend will tell you the truth. Mr. Cummings need to recalibrate. Mr. Cummings need to go back on the drawing board, because Mr. Cummings, the folks in Liberia are getting tired with him. And I would say my piece. I don't listen. This is not about friendship. They will curse you. They will do this. Liberia need to hear this. As everything remains and what it is today, if Mr. Cummings continue with Louis Brown, if Mr. Cummings continue with our brother Musa Ability, if he continue with those guys, then Mr. Cummings will not go anywhere. Some folks around Mr. Cummings are his own hindrance. I want to see a good election, a perfect election. I want to see an election that everybody will make it their own case for the Liberian people, the well-being. Mr. Cummings got some message there. His message is out there, it's resounding, it's unique. But going back to what Kev Hassan saying, tell the Liberian people what you would do differently when you talk about George Weah and Joseph Boakai.
They don't have it.
Tell the Liberian people what you're going to do.
Exactly.
And what I want to say, I beg you, give me a few more seconds to Tomani George, because it's time to speak to the nation and speak to our people. Not only those on social media. It's time to open the 3 radio stations as we get closer, few more weeks, 1 more 10 days, or whatever the amount of days is to the new year. Tell the Liberian people something. What you going to do for them? Don't send us to your vision on social media. My Mary do not have internet. She has no laptop. She cannot read your vision. Tell them how you will make her life better. Then she will ask you, though, but you've been here since 2015. I am your neighbor. What have you done for me?
Yes, sir.
Must you be president first before I found out that my life will transform?
Yes,
Let's
sir.
be real, guys. And we can talk about Joseph Boakai. We can talk about George Manuel Weah. We can talk about Teron Gonglo. But you brought a conversation about Mr. Cummings. And I just like to chip in further. I want Mr. Cummings to sit down with that 6th grader that they put out for school fees. And she would turn to Mr. Cummings and say, but you get the STEM school. I cannot go to your school because I don't have the full $6,000 to pay. How can you help me? You talk about, yeah, Mr. Cummings built 5 water pump in the district. 5 water pump? Should we equate that to you being a president, then you do more? Mr. Cummings has the contact. He worked for Coca-Cola. He knows folks in Africa. He served in Nigeria. He got the connection, like Dr. Richardson would say, like other folks going to say. He knows folks in America. He got the connection. Take a factory to Liberia and let John Manuel tell you no. Be proud and say, through me, we brought this industry. We can fix slippers. We can manufacture sugar. We hire 100 people, 200 people. Then you're cooking. I beg you. I want to learn on this. And
Yeah.
I beg you, you should ask me a question about Joseph Boakai and George Manuel too. I will be happy to explain. But listen, and this is the issue that I found out that some of my ANC folks want us to buy into. He will help you tomorrow, but vote for him today.
Okay.
All these years, Mr. Cummings years, he worked for Pillsbury. He worked for Coca-Cola. He have done everything. I agree. He got money. I agree. He got connections with factories. I agree. He can snap his finger. You got 3-4 factories in the country today. Must you be president before you bring them? Have you tried? Tell the Liberian people I tried to bring rubber factory here in Joe Manor where government stopped me. Tell the Liberian people I tried to bring iron ore factory, that they will manufacture things in the country. We hire over 500 individuals, but this government stopped me.
Yes,
then
sir.
we will turn to Josh Manor and blame him.
Okay.
Then we will turn to my Ellen government and blame her.
Yes,
but
sir.
Mr. Cummings can do that. Let's stop joking with the people vote. And I
Okay.
rest my case.
Well, let me come in.
I'm not moderating, but you go.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome. But let me say this though: if we make bringing in companies to the country as the threshold of becoming a president, that is not fair to Cummings. But
if we do what? Can you repeat?
You got to bring in business or bring some investment in the country for you to become president. It would not be fair to him.
But I think you changed what we are saying, though. Your question wasn't based on your investment.
I come in now because
it's a civilian job. Your question I'm sorry. He's a moderator.
You answer the question. You see, I asked a question about the way administration and the.
No, I told you so. Let me finish with why we let because I was speaking. But I was speaking about this. But anyway, now you want to ask about the job matter we are administration?
Well, let me address the issue first now because we can't always come in for different standard, because if that's the case. Ellen brought in a factory in Liberia. Ellen brought in Bush became president. Well, we are who was the world best. He know around the world. We asked that you're going to bring investor. Where investment we are brought in the country? We are where promised us to bring our hair factory. Where? It's taking me. So let's be honest. So we can't all come with different standard and other people with different standard.
Just one line, Mr. Moderator. Just one line.
Yeah, let me end this.
Mr. Moderator, just one line. And that's the reason why. That's the reason why you, moderator, you said the alternative. We understand we are where said she will bring her factory. You said she didn't bring it. We understand personally. We are saying he would do X, Y, and Z. He didn't. That's why you want to find an alternative. But there's no alternative. And that's my point I'm making.
And I have view, yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's my point I'm making. Yeah. But go ahead, Mr. Moderator.
Yeah, but just to end there.
Can I say one word? Okay, go ahead.
If we try to make that standard, look, that means a poor guy who meet the requirement to become a president, he cannot run. Because I mean, in order for me to run for president, I got to bring in investor, I got to do the pay school fee before I become president. So I don't think that standard is fair. Because everybody should be able to run for president once you meet the requirement. Or to say you must pay school fee or you should have broad businesses, then for president, then I don't think it's a fair thing. But go ahead, Dr.
And let me just tell you what the alternative is for us Liberians right now. When I hear people say you got to do this, you got to bring this in, you got to build school, you got to pay somebody's school fees, those are not systemic issues, okay? That's not a systemic answer. If that's what George Weah did, maybe that's what we're feeling right now because he's going, I'm going to dash school fee to this person. I'm going to deliver just a dialysis machine to this place. I'm going to just build a hospital and let it be as it is. What the alternative is making something that is system and ongoing, okay? And that's what Mr. Cummings wants to bring our country to a place where we can have a system going and everyone can have opportunities to be a part of the system and get benefits from the system, not depending on handouts from people, which is what many governments have done in the past. Which is what this government is doing. I give everybody free wire fee. No, let's give people the opportunity to have a job where they can be able to pay their children tuition. And then if anybody chooses to get scholarship here or not, then they can do that as well. This is why we all live in this developed country. Scholarships around, but you have choices where people can get a job to support their children to school. And so he wants a systemic healthcare system where I'm not just going to build a hospital and don't have training for the nurses, don't have medication in the hospital, don't have any kind of administration that knows what they're doing in the hospitals. And that's the alternative. We want Mr. Cummings, when he speaks about system, that's what he means. And I know I'm being short here, so I want to give my colleagues a chance to talk, but I can tell more about that system that we all know that works in this country that we need to take back to our country to make it work for us. And that's the alternative.
Okay, welcome. Before we go to the other people about it, let me say something. Let me give just a second. 2004, when we decided to come up with the idea CDC, the reason why people can say, the money, where we are for? We said at the time, all those running for president, we said that they were all part of they created the crisis that we're in today. So we said, look, George Weah, he's the one that we see as that person who can unify the country. So and the majority of people gravitates towards him. So we said we're gonna come together and we're gonna carry him. That's the reason why we started to come together. I thought we tried a lot of names at that time, and people named Phil, brought name forward and they failed. but we started to come around here at the time because we felt that he was a unified Liberia after a war, based on the fact that he embodies the different sense of unity. So we came together, and a mass groundswell of people gravitated towards him. We said, let's go with him. So that's the reason why we really want somebody to give reason why you want to support the person. So that's the reason why we came up with that idea. Welcome, Papd and Fagon. Welcome, Papd. You've been here in discussion about the candidates in the race and the path to the presidency. You want to chime in?
You know, I've just been listening. I mean, I always say on this show that the path to the presidency will be a decision of Liberian people. But let me come out and talk about that leadership quality and stuff like that. I think we continuously confuse ourselves when we talk about this person have done nothing for Liberia. What have he brought to Liberia? What have he helped the Liberian people with? Or what did he do and all of that? Look, I think one of the reasons that you see George Weah is president today it's not that he did something special. It's because of goodwill. You know, he played football, and at times he will give back to his people like everyone else have done. Mr. Cummings, Mr. Barker worked for the Liberian government for many years. He put in services. Mr. Cummings went to Liberia. Mr. Cummings spoke of investment that he had in Liberia, but he had not made those investments public for some reason. So I don't think we should base the quality of one who can lead a country based on what they can give, because our people don't get it, because our people continuously vote based on handouts, instant gratification. That's why our people vote on. They do not vote on policy. They do not vote on things that will benefit them, and that's why they always make that mistake on sometimes electing the wrong person, because they want people to give them money. If you have money today, you could win some election, so because of handout. I don't think that should be the issue. The Liberian people now should be able to deduce their living condition. Have we benefited on this leadership? Is this the right leadership for us? If this is the right person to lead us, are we better off 5 years now into this administration? Are we much better? Do we have everything that we need or so? Or are we living? Is our education system better? That's what Liberian people should be looking at. I think the opposition and those should be able to educate our people when it comes to what to vote for, what they need to vote for, what they need to know to vote. Not just somebody coming 5-6 months before election, put a light pole here, get 5,000 back of rice. Oh, we're building this thing for you. Then you jump and say, oh, yeah, that's the right person. But be able to just sit there and vote about issues that affect you, whether this person is the right leader. Is President we are the right president for you after 5 years? Has he changed our condition? What does Mr. Cummings bring? What does Vice President Barker bring? That's what Liberian should be looking at. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Papd. Fagon, you just come in. We're talking about the candidates and the path to the presidency, the records, and also the ruling establishment promises they made, whether they are kept it, and so forth. Can you want to chime in?
Well, thank you. It's great to be with all of you guys on the panel. It's a wonderful day here in Tennessee. Well, let me say this. It's nice when we come on the panel and we give our insights, but I think some of the calls I'm getting from people is that some of us, including myself, we sound like we're spokespersons for these campaigns and these candidates. The question you ask is something that is legitimate, and that is, Liberian people will ask, what have we done? I've said this time and time again. It will be based on your record. We're not Americans, we're not British, and certainly we're not French. We are Liberians. That's the way we ask candidates, what's your record? We ask you, what have you done for Liberia? Maybe we need to take the Liberia from there and just say, what's your record? I think that would be great. I cannot say, why is it that Cummings cannot say, he can say he will do this, but he's not going to say how he's going to do it. It'll mean like, you know, I'm giving my opinion on Cummings as a panelist. Yes, and Kev is legit on that. However, the real question is, have Cummings campaign said that? Dr. Francine pushed back that Cummings campaign have said more than that. Right now, for the last 48 hours, Tomali, I've been considering to myself, and I'm talking to people on the ground, I may decide to run for the presidency of the Republic of Liberia. And I can tell you what I will do.
Breaking news.
Yes, in comparison to what the others have done. And here is how it starts. Maybe some of the candidates can learn from me. Start breaking down your platforms and your presentation to the people in brackets. For example, President, we are keen with agriculture, right? What have we seen in the agriculture sector? What can President we are boast of? And if you ask that question, it will be legit. But then you have to tell the people what you will do differently. And this is what I would tell the people when I become president. And I think Dr. Papd and Stanton will agree with me that, oh, maybe Eugene not running for president. He's trying to tell people how to do it. It's simple. As president, I am not going to give $11 million over a couple of years to rice importers who will bring in rice that will land in Sierra Leone, Guinea, and the Ivory Coast. But rather, I will invest $11 million into rice production. And I can guarantee you, with Emmanuel JJ, Armstrong Jabba, and all of those people, I will feed the nation within 2 years. And here is how it is done. The experts have already informed me. I bring in Armstrong Jabba and Emmanuel JJ and the other people. Now, agriculture is clear. Let's look at the economy. I don't want an economy that says I have reduced inflation to just a single digit, wherein the people have not been impacted by that. I turn around, I brought in harmonization. This government brought in harmonization and cut people's salaries by 50%, while at the same time increasing taxes on the people. I'm not going to do that. Here is what I'm going to do. I am going to ensure first and foremost that government is small enough but productive. And those whose salaries were cut by 50%, if the only reason why your salaries was cut was to invest in infrastructure and that the $530 million was too little, how is it that this government is operating a budget of almost $800 million with increased revenue when your wages are decreased? Here is what I'll do differently. I will not increase your wages to the 100% that it was before, but at least I will increase it to 60 or 70% of what it was, while at the same time reducing taxes not to what it was before, but to a considerable amount.
Okay.
I moved to national security.
I mean, we're not here for Fagon's campaign rally, but
You
keep General, you declare, say you run for president.
No, because I'm setting the stage.
Fagon, but you run campaign Fagon for yourself.
People come and say they won't run for president.
Yeah, but you declare your campaign, then you want
campaign. We're here for my campaign rally, my man.
People come and say, I want to be your president. Listen, I will get everybody rest in Nuku Town. How? Why? When will you do it?
So
telling the people?
We got President Weah, Gonglo, Cummings, Boyka, Fagon. So the five now running.
Please put me in the race now.
So now, okay.
So maybe if even I decide to jump out of the race, the candidates will learn something from me. National security.
And jump out.
Yeah. Securing our borders against external aggression is not up to it. But let's look in the country. What has police or even President Weah?
Let's move on.
What have they said about our national security situation? What have they said? Look at our diplomatic missions abroad. You yourself, you have criticized this foreign minister. In fact, you, Tomali, the worst person, I don't like this foreign minister. How is it that our foreign policy is defined? What do we do differently?
But somebody, are you mad already?
Education.
If I go on, please, if I go, let move on.
You say I want to yell.
No, but you can't declare your intention
Okay,
over president.
that
You start
10
campaigning
seconds
right
or
away.
15 more.
That's
How many
not. You
seconds
got
I
none
got?
left. You got none left. We're coming back to you. Let's move on.
Y'all want to promote Cummings and Baga, y'all go ahead.
The man a presidential candidate now.
Hey, in a race now. So,
I in a race.
You need to tell somebody representing the show now.
just good.
I can represent myself. You think I can now, Kev, you want to represent me?
Your press release, yeah. If I go in a
So when
race,
you drink Blue Moon, you can be talking to people any kind of way you want to talk.
that's good to do a press release. If I go in jail and enter in the race. But that I really see. So let's get back to business, right? Okay. Now, let's assume that the candidates have taken that selected the VP picks. Now tell me now. Be honest with you. You're you now. You representing. I mean, you representing yourself, but you support Cummings. So tell me now. You think a female or male will serve Mr. Cummings to help him on a ticket or not? Please.
I had mentioned a female or a younger
Or
male.
young girl.
A younger, not a young girl, a younger male.
Okay.
A female or a younger male that I think somebody who will be able to represent the views of the young population, because our country has a larger percent of young people, people who are, even though in this country 30 and below or 30 is not young, but that kind of a population. So I think because that population, I think, have been left out of the bowl of rice, as Mr. Cummings usually use that analogy, to a large extent. I think our country, Liberia, has been heavily focused on the old guard, for lack of a better word. Okay, so I think bringing in a younger person to introduce new ideas, that especially in this digital world, in this electronic world, okay, that will motivate and stimulate the young population. Somebody will be concerned about the effect of war on the young population, because they were the one who, where their school were interrupted. Some of them were born during the wartime. Some of them, they have not had proper training. They don't even have a job. So that would be the kind of person that I would like to be selected to advise whoever the president is. And then I think a female, I have a female in my head, but I don't want to call that person's name now. I think a female will be very supportive, given the fact that women make up a larger, and I said this earlier, women make a larger percentage. Women is the bedrock of our community. I think women leadership is, look at Rwanda. Rwanda has a good example of what women can do once they're in leadership. And I think, even looking at the country that we are talking from right now, in the United States, we have Kamala Harris, you have Nancy Pelosi. You see what they are doing here in this country. So, that's what I think in terms of those two characteristics.
Okay, everybody will have different questions. Kev, because the question will be the same. Kev, okay, you support the president and CDC. The president is running for re-election. Now, the president opponents will try to hold him. They say, well, Liberia, we passed the Millennium Challenge, but we didn't get a compact. They will say that you said in that you're going to take 1 billion people out of poverty or create jobs, or 1 billion jobs or so forth. But can you show the records or so forth? What do you think will be the defense if you are put on the record for that, to come out to defend your record, that the promises you made? What do you think the president will be coming to will say?
Well, Tommy, first of all, nowhere you say 1 million jobs. It's 1 million families. Let's correct that. And the first thing we should take out of. There's no such thing as that.
So 1 million what? 1 million what?
Family.
Oh, family out of poverty, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, out of poverty, 1 million family. But the president will show about so many achievements, more hospital, more roads.
No, but I'm talking about the issue, like 2 issues I raised about the poverty, about the 1 million poverty, and also
I just told you about it's 1 million and family.
Out of poverty, yeah. They accomplish it.
say that again. 1 million family if they accomplish.
They take them out of poverty.
Well, you look at factors. First of all, you look at the factors that happening. Within the past 5 years, we have a global challenge, so we can say that. And two, 1 million family was not meant for 4.5 years. There's nobody you can find and say the person told you, I will lift and 1 million family in 4.5 years. You'll find that and you'll bring it to me. No part of that.
Was lifted? Any percentage on that?
No part of that. So at this moment, we look at global factors, something that happened in the entire world, that shut the entire world down. Even a country like America spoke about it. So at this moment, the government pick it up. The world opened in the past 1 year. In the past 1 year. So we see things picking up. So when you look at the economy in Liberia right now, and you check what happened in a country like Ghana right now, you see stability. You see stability. Let's look at civil servant as we speak right now. The government owns no civil servant. As we speak right now, government owns no civil servant. As we speak right now. That's part of that part of stabilizing our household income. So you see it as we speak. So you see the direction as we speak right now. You can see the direction where the government going. We're not going backward. We're going forward. So taking people out of poverty is picking up. But I want people to factor in what happened to the entire world. Even this country we live in, just picking up. And this country we live in make the same case that I'm making, that the reason the economy was slowing down and things were slowing down because of the global challenge. Only opposition there, we can hear them, they say, oh, that's not true. But that's true. So in 5 years, next month we're gonna make it 5 years. You have to subtract. You have to take out 2 years, 2 of that 5 years, and let's look at the 3 years. Things that the person has done within that 3 years. Look at the hospital. Look at the road. Look at things. I heard my sister talk about WIAC fee. But let me say this to you. I know the Mr. Cummings spoke on that thing to say it was not a good thing. But let me tell you one thing. We'll have our marketers. We'll have our OMA them who cannot pay, who not paying a WIAC fee anymore. That money saved. Look at that. That bread and butter right there. Let's look at a public university. They're not paying. That money saved. That bread and butter right there. When you don't pay school fee for your child, you keep that money. That's a bread and butter issue right there. It help you. It help you. So my question is, I want to everybody. I want the opposition to come tell me that what they can do better than WIAC fee. You will take the WIAC fee and what they can do better. Public university, the free public university. What can they do better? What can they do better in hospital? Building hospital for our people. What can they do better? But again, you know why they cannot show you how? Because the president is already doing the how. The president is doing it. So you can't say, I will build hospital, the president build it. You can't come with rule, the president get rule. You can't come with school, the school. You can't come with so everything you want to come with. That's why I urge all my fellow surrogates from different parties. You stop all these other things. Joe, we had this, Joe, we had flag, Joe, we had. Let's speak on the issue. And I'm going to sell this network today. Let's come on the issue. Let's talk about hospitals. Let's talk about bread and butter issue. Let's talk about the issue, and let's talk about the length of time this president and fixed and some of this stuff. We never said that in 4.5 years, 1 million family will be lifted from poverty. Never.
Got a Papd.
Yes, sir.
Oh, I forgot. Stand on before you.
Wait, you don't want me on the show? I can leave and be back though.
No, man, no.
You gotta keep this thing going as in
Yeah. Before the man, yeah. So, yeah, but CEO, we're talking about the candidates in the race now. For you, I know you in no position because you're not come up probably to decide which side you're on, but your position. So now, giving an overview of all the candidates in the race and so forth, looking at the record of the current administration and the opposition going against them, the issue that the question is asked about the promises made by the ruling establishment. Will you think they have kept the promises? And then number two, why we did not? We passed we got an MCC scorecard, we got a pass, but we didn't qualify for the compact. Why do you think was some of the factors?
All right, Tumani, I like this question. Let me take your second question first. We all know actually, just don't play. We shouldn't play politics with this MCC. All right, and after it is given, you say what you want to say. You know, I will ask you the same question. How many times did Madam Salif pass the scorecard, and how many times did she receive the money? Can anybody out there answer the question? This thing, if
we're talking about current administration now.
I am asking you because we are talking about the MCC scorecard.
Yeah, but
you're a student of history, political history, you claim.
We're talking about the CDC. We're talking about
yeah, but we are talking about the same thing, MCC.
Yeah.
How many times did Madam Salif receive compact money?
CDC. So we're talking about she received it once.
We agree. We agree to money. To money. To money.
They would never answer that.
We should find reason to. I would find reason, legit reason, to beat on any one of those candidates in this administration. But let's be fair. Madam Salif passed the compact so many times, and she won. She received the money but once. This is this administration first time passing. If given the chance to lead in the next 6 years coming after 2023, and they continue on the path of passing, there's hope that they will receive the compact funds. So all is not lost. And you know that's into money. All is not lost. So many reasons why the board decided not to give Liberal compact money today. The door is not 100% closed. There is always a hope, and we know that. So whenever somebody come to you and say, oh, they didn't receive compact money, ask them the question, how many times did Madam Salif pass? And how many times did she receive the money? And they will be quiet less than Tomorrow George. They would say no more.
No, but I don't think Madam Salif ever failed. The scorecard that she passed.
No, but we are saying, don't change the conversation now. You ask why they wasn't given the money. I'm telling you, passing one and not given the money is not the end of the road. If you pass again,
passed 4 times now. That get declared.
And how many times did she receive the money?
Once.
How many times? Hold on now, brother. You ask a question you cannot answer. Okay, how many times have this government passed?
Once.
How many times have they failed?
Wait, check it now.
No, I'm asking you, how many times have they failed?
But send it to over. They are not passed. So how many?
No, brother, no.
How many years of power now?
No, brother, you answer the question or you can dodge it. You brought a compact question. We got to set it straight.
Yeah, but
Madam Salif passed 4 times. Did she receive compact money 4 times?
She received 1, but you know how long it lasts?
No, you said 1, but you're showing 2 fingers. So which one would take now? You said 1, but you're showing 2 fingers. So those that cannot hear us but watching us, they're saying they will agree that you're saying 2. How many times did she pass? You said 4 times. How many times did she receive money? Once. How many times have this government passed? Once. How many times have they received money? Not yet. Church, that move on, man. You know, there's always a path. How long Madam Seti was in power for? 12 years. How long have this government been in power for? Give them 12 years and justify your question as to why they have not received money. Then we will move on. But right now, you can't do that. So let me move on. Let me go to your second question. Let's stop playing this thing, man. Let me go to your second question, man. Let me go to your second question. Madam Seti served 12 years. She got compound money once, Fagon. I know you running to be a president now, so maybe you will have to say a representative on the show. Madam Seti passed 12 years. She served 12 years. You said she passed 4 times, but they gave her the money once. Give President we had 12 years. See how many times he will pass and how many times he will get the money. Case closed. Your second question, brother. What was your second question?
Okay. Madam Seti passed 4 times, received $1,000. Okay.
But we're finished now, though. What was your second question?
Okay, the record, the CDC ran the Papd record. If you look at the 4 pillars in the record, have they achieved it?
I think that they have not achieved 100%. Let's be fair. So a lot more to go. They have not achieved 100%. So till you can narrow it down and break it into pieces, then maybe the argument will be better. Okay? They will go back to their own record and say, when we took over, how many hospitals did we meet? How many hospitals the government had? And how many hospitals we added on? Is that a fair argument? How many hospitals was hanging around from Madam Salif? And how many hospitals have they built? If you build a hospital, you increase the manpower in healthcare. If healthcare 100%, no. Should the government do more? Yes. Bapadu Hospital, kept show the picture. We argue, we make the case, and I sent some guys in there, willing to be open. The government saying we'll open the hospital, we're bringing state-of-the-art equipment. But then the argument would be, St. Thomas and George, if they are running against JMB as vice president to Madam Sarif, how many hospitals did you build for 12 years? What were some of the equipments in those hospitals? How many members of your government had to travel outside the country to go for health care? These are arguments that can hold water from this government. Let's look at education. You need to break it down. Don't generalize the conversation and say whether they have met the objective. This objective cannot be 100% in one term. These Papd documents and Fagon issue to come in, I agree, because he served in that department as information deputy minister. Nobody should tell you that Papd can solve Liberian problem in one term. Nobody. Have they done something? Yes. Can they do more? Yes, they should do more. Are they getting there? The argument needs to be made. There's some missteps, we agree. Things need to be corrected. But you, St. Thomas and George, cannot tell Liberians and everyone everywhere that they have not done some portion of that Papd to help Liberians. Then I think the Liberian people tell you that you are not being fair. Just the hospital, go up, count down, sedition or non-sedition, opposition or imposition. You can see how many hospitals Madam Seti built. 12 years. And how many hospitals right now, at least off the ground and running? Somewhat. And I put the somewhat in parentheses, and the Liberian people should be the judge. Guys, this is the show for everyone. That's my opinion, please. Don't get mad at me. Say your own, I will say my own, and Liberian people will hear us all. I yield back my time to you, Mr. Moderator.
That's Papd. The same question I asked them, but yeah, please. Yeah,
Papd, why are you laughing? My man, Papd. No, wait. Kev, why the two guys are laughing, Kev?
Because
Because you know what though? It just listen, when I see people going with argument, hold on to the key point. You want to tell Liberian people that the government didn't win Compact, the government didn't get the money, so the world is cracking down. And
So-
under 12 years,
you are beating this government for not implementing the PAPD. You are beating on them.
I agree. But I'm telling you, Senator George, the PAPD, one term cannot finish the PAPD. If I was in Fagon case and in Fagon shoe, right, in making the argument then for this government, Fagon will agree with me. Nobody should tell you the PAPD was only set for 6 years.
What do I agree with you?
But man, let me make my point. Let me ask you.
But you know the moderator, he just taking Tomali job.
Yeah, but
nobody should tell you that the PAPD.
Tomali put a main in the
bar. But the other thing, the
PAPD
was a 5-year national development plan. So the CDC came away, a 5-year development plan. So they said they were done in 5 years.
So no, Timothy George, Timothy George, hold on now.
Black and white.
Something is there as well.
What?
They cannot tell you that it will be done in 5 years.
That's what they say.
Hold on now, hey brother.
Anyway,
then the term of the presidency is 6 years. Come on, man.
I just want
to. It's a continuing process in transformation. They have to transform it. They have to develop it. They got to move, walk, talk, and make it look better as the condition. I would take Gloria Scott words. As the condition of the country, so's the problem. And every year we bring in new thing, and that PAPD will be transformed to meet the needs of the Liberian people. And you know that, Senator Mani George.
Yeah, but okay, I know from Fagon can you address that issue better. Because
I'm ready for me. Too many.
You gotta go ahead.
All right. Let me say this. So the hospital in Bapolo is on course, right? Go on now, right? Okay. Let me continue.
People are having technical problem. What happened? What happened? No, let me tell you what happened with people. The internet not working.
Interrupting me, right? But let me see, right?
They got me how to defend my man. Go ahead.
No, listen. I'm not begging people. Give me 5 seconds. I would disagree with you to say the government had to defend.
Yeah, because the PADB.
The issue is that Timothy George. Let me say this to you. I will say this and I will go because the rest of the guys got to talk. I would disagree with you to say the government had to defend. The issue is that folks that should be defending the government on principle, they are not. And that's the issue. The government have a good case to make to the Liberian people. For example, you beating the government that they didn't pass. And they passed, but they wasn't awarded the Compact money. You cannot hold them for that. 12 years under Madam Sadiq. 12 years. The key issue, they pass. If the United States Treasury Department decided not to give them the money at the time, they would give it to them in due time. Did you ask Madam Sadiq and her administration when they passed the first time, why they didn't give them the money? When they passed the second time, why they didn't give them the money? When they passed the third time, why they didn't give them the money? When they passed the fourth time, then they got the money. Did you ask? Have you ever asked them? Come on, Georgie, you student of history. You know how it works.
You better go ahead.
The mere fact that they passed, they should be celebrated. And we'll be patient and wait for the money. I know you're going to cheer me up. Let me go in the back.
It's too funny, man.
Man, quiet. Who's saying run away?
Let me make it fun. Let me say, passing one time in 12 years and not passing, not getting money, it's just not a good thing. I mean, Ellen got it in 12 years. It's been 5 years. We passed, but we have not even reached the mark. It's a good thing that we passed. I give them the credit. But that's the other thing that we should look at, okay? this government boasts of providing free university education. Look, if you're giving university education free, we don't even have secondary education, a primary education. That should be the focus point from elementary through high school. Then you build a foundation for the kids to go through university. But look at our primary schools. Look at our entire system. Look at our what's the ballet center or what they were building, the ballet something. The Iboma due for this mass roads that they were building, nothing have come to light. Okay, we still see unemployment at one of the highest rates. The former minister just made a point here. You brought in harmonization, but then the budget's high, and then people are still making $40, $20, $40, $50 a month and stuff like that. So why you have $8 million budget and people the harmonization you still cutting pay and stuff like that? So there's a lot of things that this government have not lived up to, So the Liberian people now have to come back and look and say, well, have they done this? Have they empowered people to go to work rather than depending on them for a national exam fee or this fee? If you empower people to go to work and get the pay, they'll be able to pay their children the WIAC exam fee. But that's not empowerment. Even though, I know people are feeling a hard time, but it's not an empowerment, honestly. Empower people to have a job. Empower people to be able to make a living, the minimum living. Empower them to make it. And this government have not made it. That's why we couldn't get money from the MCC, because some of the schools, we did not meet that threshold to get the money. So the thing is, there's a lot that the government said they would do, and they have not done it. And at the end of the day, 2023, we'll see. I want to see 1 million people that were taken from poverty. Wow, then I have almost 2/3 of the country. If you got 1 million people that were taken out of poverty, my God, Liberia is really doing well. I want to see that. I want to see some of the people. Maybe we should open the line later on, and that's when I call and say they were taking out of poverty. That's all.
Okay, before I go to the deputy minister, let me say this though. You see, with the MCC, after the Madam Salih passed full time, she got multi-year compact. So as a result, once you pass, you continue to be renewed. Once you keep on passing, renew it. So when she got her money, but then when the CDC took power, they inherited the money that Salih left there, and then they failed to qualify based on the way the money was handled, so they lost that compact. But Pagon, you can share more light.
You see, as soon as
Fagon, I would check to money. I'm begging you. To money.
Why you want to check to money,
George?
I'm moderating.
Yeah, so I have right to check him.
Put him in the background.
I have right to check him because that's what we do. But I think to money, George, is in error in his narrative. Whosoever saying those information, I think they are in error. You cannot just make those statements. I think that because of the money that was turned over to the government, they misused the money. So therefore, they didn't give them new money. But I just want to check you there. You can go back to Fagon.
The facts are there. MCC other report will tell you, and they'll tell you the reason why. But go ahead, Fagon.
Thank you very much, and I hope you will protect me against.
Fagon get 2 minutes.
The CDC spokesperson, Stanton Witherspoon, and Kev Hassan. Because I made it clear.
Are you going to label us like that now? We cannot give our own opinion now. You attach me.
I said the man should protect me against y'all. Because I made it clear.
No. You gotta listen. You're running to be president. You gotta be fair now. You're gonna attach me to a political party.
You're asking me after you say who I am, and you say
you're gonna attach me to a political party. Fagon.
I made it clear to.
Fagon, I will leave you with these few words. You know the Christmas will be good from the Eve. Continue talking Tabata.
As far as I'm concerned, I made it clear to Chairman Molu today that the weekly call I usually get from him of encouragement, I did not get it. Therefore, I will vibrate the system. And tonight, I will vibrate the system. So let's start. First, I want to tell Stanton Witherspoon that I prefer to pass 5 times or 4 times the Millennial Challenge and get money 1 time than to fail 4 times and pass 1 time. If I ask him which do you prefer, he will say, I want to pass 5 times. Because the money is not as important as passing the Millennium Challenge that has to do with policy implementation for your people. So if you're failing, it means you are not doing the right thing. Point or no point, point 1. So I prefer to pass 4 times, get money 1 time, than to fail 4 times and pass 1 time. Point 2. Mr. Moderator, in presenting the Papd to the Liberian people, copy of which I have sent to Stanton A. Witherspoon.
I don't have it. I do not receive text from you.
Okay, no problem. I will send it to Salefu, thank you. Now, President, we are in presenting the Papd to the people. He said, and I quote, he said, I'm quoting him, over the next 5 years, we will do a few things and do them well. We will focus on bringing growth back to the economy by increasing productivity through value chains with emphasis on agriculture processing and marketing. Did he do that? Agriculture processing and marketing, did he do that? Because before people are hungry, he continued, and I'm quoting him again. We will promote the production of rice, cassava, and vegetables using new and appropriate technologies because the agriculture sector is a major source of foreign exchange and livelihood of our people. Did we do that? Did we do that? Did we produce rice, cassava, and vegetables? Did we attract foreign exchange? I hope Malu listening because he the one made me first. Now, he said the forest sector, I'm quoting here again, remains another area with significant potential for growth. Significant potential for growth. And so, what do? He said, while developing the potential in those areas, we will pay close attention to natural resource governance so local communities can increase their share of the benefits from our natural resources and work with the government to improve regulation. Look at Dr. Francine looking at me. Work with the government to improve regulations of artisanal, small-scale.
The man want to read the entire George Weah speech.
No, I'm not reading it.
The man want to read the entire George Weah speech. Let me say all the time, man. But let me move, man.
Protect me. The last time I checked, look at bombing. First of all, Asilometer. After 15 years, they pay 1 toilet. Before I say classroom, they've been hauling our people iron ore. Western Cluster King, instead of redoing the railroad, they're using the trucks and spoiling our Kota Road. Did he do that? This is President we are speaking. Are we getting our fair share from these activities?
If I'm going to address the issue now,
the issue here is you ask, you want to be the moderator, help yourself. You say that the Papd benefit.
Yeah.
I am saying, and I'm quoting President Weah, right?
Yeah.
If we look at that paragraph of what President Weah said he would do, and I'm quoting him, do it well. Has he done it well? I'm not here to defend the government in closing. Let me close on this note. You heard from the information minister. He talked when I sent for my 2 personal cars and begged the LRA boss that the cars will be used for government. The LRA boss charged me $4,665 to clear the car. And the car, my witnesses, the Liberian people, the 2 cars were used for the government at my personal expense. Today he was crying. 17,000 for the whole ministry. If a minister can be crying, think about me, the deputy minister. Yet I did my whole department at my own cost and the cost of friends. My friend, what I'm trying to tell you, if we come on this platform to debate whether the Papd was successful or not, that's for you guys to judge. I'm a seditian, but CDC and CAF does not want me to come up against them, because what I know, they don't know, and they will never know, because they did not work with me to know. Therefore, they will never know. I respectfully submit on that note. You see, stand up, stand on for your head.
Thank you. For our last part of our program today, we'll finish with that the topic now. The last part now. We're at the close of the end of the year to 2022. I want each person to tell me what's the expectation for the coming year in the political arena, and what's the
But we gotta go after Fago, man. He said this thing that he just can't fly.
And let me say our Koti.
I'm asking you if it's okay. So
you respond if I respond, then we'll go to the next topic.
Just Kev, you want to say something?
Kev, you want to say something? If I go to the next topic, you understand? Say you're on the same side today.
No, it's not about Kev and myself on the same side. Guys, let's be serious for once.
My man, you're on the same side.
Okay.
The man happy Kev today. The man don't be scared. The man happy Kev today.
Let's just be serious.
Happy Kev.
If I'm gonna have the constant habit of interrupting us on this show, and you want to be president for the country, let's be serious for once, though. It is important for us to know, guys. You guys know government. When these things happen, we will announce it. We will go after the government. We will help that the government have that reform, transform, and adjust herself to the will of the people. If I'm going to sit on this show, cry for legible running, seriously, just Fagon.
I'm not crying for you.
Fagon, let me talk. Mr. Moderator, can you protect me, please?
No, but you said I'm crying for the man.
Mr. Moderator, can you please protect me?
No, I'm crying for the man. Correct. Okay, point out information.
Fagon.
The man was crying. I don't mean crying.
Let the man flow.
And I would never cry for him. Spare never backwards.
So, may I proceed?
You have to protect
Okay. So it is important for us to know that Fagon crying for legible running that he make money. Let me say this: everyone that have an opportunity and are blessed to have a job, they are appointed like Fagon by this government that I have beat on so many times. You should use that entity to bring money and development for your people at that ministerial entity. Say what you want to say. We know how far, we know exactly. Okay, talk anything you want to say. We beg. They gave out only 17,000 to do this. You are the Minister for Information, Culture, and Tourism. You want to go on national radio and cry wolf that they include in the budget only 17,000?
Yeah.
You got to be innovative. Don't be a woman. You see my frustration with Senator at times, because they feed those ministers and directors and say, wait for the budget. We will put 10,000 out there for your ministry. Then they're happy. So all the minister now would do, hang out with the president, go on trip, come back, nothing. How many countries we have around the world? How many countries in Africa alone? In West Africa alone? Go and make connection, make negotiation. Look at our tourism. You know how much money is supposed to be coming in for tourism in our country? DJ Blue always come and talk about Cape Man. Talk about the beauty of Liberia, that if you sell Liberia out, you will bring in millions of dollars. So let's ask the former deputy minister, what was your discussion in building the ministry? Everybody concerned about the money that go on the NSA for the media. How many people will eat that one money? Every ministry, every entity should be able to have connections by law, by the Constitution, to bring money in helping the government and the people of Liberia. Not just to go on for safari, not just to go hang out and eat and drink. You get other ministries out there, information ministers out there. Have you engaged them? Tourism organization out there, airlines out there, they're waiting to partner with you to come into your country and see the beauty of Liberia. And you're crying for 17,000 that we can take and donate it to a charity group? Let's be serious, guys. Joe, we're moving the executive mansion now and make you understand how to run your ministry now. The president should leave the executive mansion and come and hang out with you at your entity, at your ministry, and say, this is how to make money. This is what you need to do. Guys, let's be serious. Not even President Bwaka would do that. Not even President Cummings would do that. If you have a good goal, good agenda, good program, you sit down, you discuss it with them. Tourism in this country since Tuman and George, you know. Kev Hassan, you know. Dr. Richardson, you were just on vacation. How much money you paid when you guys went out there? You was in the forest. You were walking. You were enjoying the beauty of America. Animals you want to see. Take them to the zoo. Take them on the beach. Surf it. Do these things. Be creative, Lejewu. But that's my point I want to make. I just want to catch my brother Fagon. Maybe he would talk to us, something we didn't know. What was the plan to develop the tourism
Can you give me 1 minute?
Yeah,
I'm not trying to attack. I'm just saying this thing clearly.
But let me say this quick on Fagon.
Yeah, thank you.
The minister also said that you don't have access to the president. That's a problem. So we should also realize that.
No, then I would say this. I would say it to Morgan George.
But it happened to me.
I beg you, Fagon. Maybe you will help us in this one. When the last time this information minister was with the president? I can remind us.
Yeah, but
it doesn't mean you should have access to the president for you to perform.
No, but listen now. As a cabinet minister, once you are the first official form of the president, you should have access to the president any day. Once you remember the president official.
George, you are saying something different. We are saying your ministry. We are saying what you bring into your ministry. Having access to president, you were just on a trip with the president a few months back. You were drinking, you were eating. Come on, man. That's not having access to the president. That's why you're not working.
Yeah, but let me fair to Lejewu now, because let me fair to Lejewu because if he said
Lejewu came to United Nations General Assembly.
Yeah, but
no. But you tell me he wasn't having access to the president. Man, let's move on, man.
You know whether he had discussed it with the president, plans and agenda that he never got. But let's move on. Go ahead.
All right. Let me use this 1 minute, please. And this it's not going to be more than 2 minutes, I promise. The same problem that Lejewu is crying today, they think I had it good. When they saw me in a convoy of 3 cars, they thought I had it. But it was my own cars that I bought. The 2 cars, I shipped them at my own cost. The LRA boss refused to let me take them out free. I just told you what I paid. When I went to the ministry, the mixer there was the one they carried to the ministry in 1965. When I left the ministry with a brand new 5.5 kVA that I hustled for, brand new speakers and microphones, brand new mixers, brand new projector and screen, the first of its kind in 30 years to enter that ministry. I bought desks and chairs, brand new, office cubicles, brand new. I came to the United States and got 8 computers, laptops, took it down. I bought cell phones, Technos, for people to be able to call in. I put flat screen TVs, brand new, for them to monitor CNN, Al Jazeera, and BBC, as well as LNTV. CEO, send your people there. Did they come from the ministry budget? No. Did I even know what was coming to the ministry? No. I got out there and did it. And at 2 o'clock in the morning, all the recordings that you used to see, everything Mika, I think the jealousy came from, where is this guy getting these things? Well, I'm happy Lejewu see it. But you know what? Why did I leave that ministry as Deputy Minister for Press, Public Affairs? Not culture, not technical, not administration, press and public affairs with flying colors. How many times did I see the president? Tomali, when I spoke, did I not say for over a year and a half, I had not seen the president? Did I not say I went to the compound and they wouldn't let me enter? Did they give me any money? No. Where did I source the money from to get all of those things? Eugene Angbe used to call me, the president got guests. We need to use the projector and the screen. Not 1, not 2, not 10. Every time. But I'm trying to say, even if you double your size, you can't fit in my shoes. And it's not because of education. It's not because of the money. It was because I came with a revolution. And I was determined to make sure the revolution succeed. So I was prepared to put my life on the line, the resources on the line to make it happen. Now, I was only deputy minister for one department. This man is the overall minister.
You're not part of a 2-minute man now. So
then you say you can't perform because of the lack of support. So how did I perform? Because I told my SAS.
Can I ask a question, Timothy?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Falcon, how did you get money for those things?
Thank you very much.
Wasn't that responsibility of the government to do that? Why did you do that?
It was the responsibility. But you know what? I reached out to friends. Let me start naming them. You know, the former AD came to the President, General Glay. Oh, yeah. He was the man that bought the first set of printers for my office. Oh. There is a guy called Michael Tike. He was the man that bought the stationaries, all the stationaries, and brought it in. I went to NPA for social corporate responsibility, and they said they can't give more than 5,000. So he told me they gave me $4,999. That's why I bought the generator with, the projector, the screen, the mixer, and all of those things, the speakers. Okay? I turned around, I reached out to a friend, they call his last name Ogamba. Ogamba. He was the one that provided me 4 laptops. And then I carried 8. I was just all around the place and begging people to help the government. At the end of the day, the government response to information came from ordinary citizens who were willing to help me to fight that battle. How much they gave me? Who gave me? Nothing. And when Ledger Hill came, I must say this, maybe it'll be breaking news. There was a little altercation, and he said, I'm here on a mission. I will force you to resign. I'll say, I will never resign. Joel will fire me. Those were my exact words to him. I will never resign. And I said, I know you United Party people. Were you not the one, as a senior strategist, I sent Kwame Weeks and Dwana.
Man, the men are here. Let's move on, man.
No, I just want to close on this. Were you not at LBS? Did you people not deny us? Then you come here to pull you over my head. You want to do Tabata? I will never resign. I am a sedition. And I stood my grounds.
Okay, guys. You know, it's the Christmas season. People stay shopping, so we gotta go. But let me say this now. We've been through the whole year 2022. I want you guys to give your prediction for next year in the political arena and what you think will happen in the political arena. What your prediction you think will happen, and each of you can give your what you feel. What will be the outcome, the political outcome with 205 days from now? What will be a political outcome for our country? What do you think? Be honest and just give an honest assessment of the outlook for 2023. And Liberian born year, you guys are one of the best on the planet, so they want to hear from you guys. Okay, we'll start with that thing. Give your outlook for 2023. What do you think will happen by October 23? What do you think will happen? What will be any change, or you expect any big news to happen? And do you expect the government, anybody to get sanctioned in the government again? Do you expect the government to get any major breakthrough and so forth? Do you expect anybody in the political scene to make a big splash that will shock everybody? What are your predictions for 2023?
So I think my prediction is focused on the Liberian people. I believe that many organizations are doing work to assist and help the Liberian people select leaders who are in the interest as opposed to leaders who just want to do instant gratification. I think that was a word that Papd used, giving them a bag of rice or t-shirt. So I think we'll see more work in that area. I think that's something that the diaspora community will be able to support in assisting our people. I expect to see most if the government continues, as we just saw in the past month, where first of all, the president left the country for 49 days and didn't address some of the issue with rice, didn't address the religious issue, didn't kind of focus on the issue of the census that has to be done according to international standards. I expect to see more sanctions if that is the case, because people will wonder what happened to the census money. What happened to the money that was allotted in that area? People, international communities, that the American government that put sanctions on Liberia in the first place, will ask, what is the president doing about corruption allegations? He already made a comment to us that we're not doing enough in our justice and security areas. We are not doing enough in those areas. That was one of the last comments that the American government made to us. So I think they were going to be looking up and measuring up to see what we're doing. I actually think they are watching to just see any kind of change that this government is making right now. I believe that Mr. Cummings is going to be speaking more to the Liberian people. If we look at the reasons why Liberian people get sick or die in the country, they are very simple things. Typhoid is one of the biggest things we hear. Malaria, some other waterborne diseases. And if you listen to, I think Mr. Cummings is going to speak more about how he wants to create some kind of preventative measure, maybe perhaps a think tank or expertise in those areas that can look and brainstorm those problems, which kind of have been researched by many international organizations around the world, okay? And center it on our people to prevent these simple things that people die of. Like in developed countries, you find that those people are not, it's not of a major concern, those waterborne diseases. I think Mr. Cummings will continue in the next coming year until 2010. October 10, 2023, to speak about system. You know, when I hear Mr. Fagon talk about all the donations, I empathize with him. I know he wanted to do well. But later we'll talk about, he only got $17,000 to run a whole ministry. Then I also want to go back to a couple of weeks ago when we had this discussion here about, who was going to, whether the sports SKD was available or not. When I hear those things, it reminds me of a failure in the system. If I ask the minister right now, or what contributed, in fact, he answered that, what contributed to you feeling the need to buy all these things to put in the ministry? You didn't get any money. Yet and still, money can be redirected in our system. It's the matter of budgeting. It's the matter of looking at priorities in our country. And this is what a system does. And I think this is the alternative. When somebody asks, what are the alternatives? That's what Mr. Cummings would like to offer. We don't want to just create school jail. We can just pay a school fee here and there. Select family. I go to nuclear trial today. I made one speech where I would say, oh, their child look fine. Their mom, my mom, auntie and stuff. I gave you your school fee, or go to this other place, this other county, and say, oh, because I want to be represented in this county, I bring scholarship. No, that's not what I expect in the coming years for Mr. Cummings to do. I expect that there'll be a systemic way where we'll create jobs. Somebody said, create jobs. So those school fees can be a one-time offer to people because of our affiliation, because our relationship, or because we like them. It can be a systemic thing in the country. We want to enhance and empower all of those different schools, primary schools. You're talking about graduating people from colleges where the education that is needed in primary schools, the thing that we used to do, SSO, GeoGo, they didn't get it correct. So when they get to college, how do we expect these people, our fellow brothers and sisters, to succeed? So I expect to see. I'm coming. It's funny. You know, I said, "I your tour. You're giving chairs. Let me talk, please." Okay. So I expect to strengthen the school fee and don't do temporary system. Let's talk a little bit about economy. What I expect. I expect Mr. Cummings to continue to speak about this issue of ecotourism and our fishing industry. Just like all low hanging fruit when we talk about our economy. Somebody talk about the beauty of Liberia. They connecting the information and tourism ministry to the presidency, where we can be able to sell our country. And to do that, we have to create security in the country. The presidency might use CCTV, right? That what Mr. Cummings spoke about today. All of us should protect ourselves. All right. That is because we have a lack of security in the country, and our justice system is just not up to par. I expect Mr. Cummings to continue to talk about empowering the security system, giving them more money for the work that they do. Coming to me, I'm coming. I know you Russia. I know you military, but I was sitting out here, you'll have your conversation. I expect him to invest to empower the forensic aspect of the security system. So they're not only going to go do investigation, there can be some conclusion why something happened. Right now, they will say, "Oh, the person died. The cause of death is death." The cause of death is they fell down. When you have forensic conclusion of a specific forensic study, you will know the cause of death. They will tell you the time, when, how, who, what a foreign agent was on the female body parts, all of those things. They will enforce like the law aspect, enforcing the rule of law, and investment, cutting wasteful spending. Too many wasteful spending in the country. Just I sent Barry to the port. You know how much I gotta pay? Plenty of money. Okay. So I expect that Mr. Cummings will speak about these things and create a system and process in the country. That is the alternative right now for our country to be a most deserving Liberia. But okay, I will stop right now because
thank you. You know, you got the time I'm looking at, but anyway, people still doing their Christmas shopping, so they want to go. But anyway, what Kev, you go, they got. Anyway, we go to the center. Center is your turn. He said, Kev did it. The usual thing. Well, Kev before you, but Kev not yet.
You wait, are we doing our closing though?
Yeah, I mean, no, we're not closing, but we're talking about the last time we talked about the
hope
for next year.
Expectation for next year.
Next year, yeah.
Next year, by God's grace, we pray for long life. We pray for a better Liberia. And we pray the best person win. Thank you.
Kev, what is the expectation about next year concerning on the political landscape and for the country, and what do you think will be by this October of next year? What do you think will happen? It will be you think there will be any more sanction? There will be any major breakthrough by the government?
No, but you didn't ask me. I told you we're just wrapping something up.
Ask the question, but then you started answering the question that way.
Okay, anyways, but you want me to go in? I can go in.
You want Kev? Anyway, answer the question because
no. Let me be serious for once. You know, as you said, folks going for Christmas. You know, I just thinking about Liberia, Central Money, George. Next year, if you talk about politics in Liberia, I do believe that a lot of things going to happen. The men are moderating going off though. A lot of things going to happen, guys. I'm concerned about the oppositions. I'm seriously concerned about the opposition. We understand that President Weah is President Weah. He got Joel. If anybody tell you anything otherwise that Prince Johnson will leave, that's a lie. Prince Johnson and Jeremiah Cohen ain't going anywhere. James Bennett, they will all stay within that. They remain with President Weah. It is fact. That's it. But the opposition, to me, they are showing immaturity. They need to be guarded. They need directions. And what Musa Belete said yesterday, I want us to play, and this will actually help me with my talking point. James, can you play the Musa Belete when they asked him whether there would be a unified opposition? James, do you have it? Can you play it, please? Good day. All right, so James somewhere else. It is James traveling to for his Christmas. All right. So I think when too many get back, he will play also. But let me say this on the show. James, play the clip, the Musa ability clip. We're waiting on you. You need to come on. You need to come on, James. So the issue is that once the clip is ready, they asked Musa ability. Too many, I think you were on the show. They asked Musa ability yesterday. He said, hell no, there will be no Boycott and Cummings ticket. He sweat upon his life. And he said no. What are we waiting for? This thing is done. What are we waiting for? We need to understand where we're coming from. Like if the people say they want unity, they want a unified ticket, and the chairman of CPP say it won't happen. The chief of staff to come and say it won't happen. Everybody's saying it will not happen. Then let's move on. Find your running mate, and then let's move on. Let the people decide. But who in the driver's seat right now, Sintoman and George? Who can speak and say this is who we are and we will win? It's President George Manawia election to lose. Say anything you want to say. Go up, calm down, get vexed, talk to your friends. They can cuss. It's President George Manawia election to lose because of this unity in opposition. So till we get there, Sintoman and George, you always say it. A lot of things going to happen going towards October 10th. A lot going to happen. But right now, my expectation, what I think will happen, zero. You will be surprised. Right now, what I think will happen, zero. We have how many more days left to the new year? 9 more days, right? That 9 more days, come back and ask the question next week, Saturday. Probably will change. But looking at everything, people you spoke to someone today. I'm not going to call their names into money, Josh. You spoke to them for almost 2 hours, 30 minutes today. They told me you spoke to them. They are discouraged. I didn't know what you wanted them to tell me, but you spoke to somebody important. Am I lying? I'm not making up a story. No, answer me. I want the people to confirm this.
Well, private constitution, you can bring it here.
No. I'm not calling names, Fagon. I'm just telling the man when he make these phone calls, it come back to me.
Somebody have the right to plead the fifth.
No, he cannot.
Oh, you don't tell the man right for you.
I saw it. And that's what
I understand, but you spoke to someone today, right? For almost 2 hours, 30 minutes, right?
See what that answer the address.
My man, you want answer, my man? I gotta go.
I'm
not calling names. I will not disclose why you discuss. You, Timothy George, spoke to someone today, right? For 2 hours, someone very important, for 2 hours, 30 minutes, correct?
Son of man, beg you. That answer that.
Man, beg you, man. But let me go, man.
Yo, George,
You want to talk, then you don't come on, you don't do it. My man, if I go, you're bye.
God, man. Kev, what your expectation for next year?
Next year, October 10th, Joe Manawia will be re-elected as president of the Republic of Liberia. Period. End of story.
Thank you. Peabody?
Well, again, my expectation for Liberia next year will be for a united opposition. If they are united, just like the tsunami that brought DeLong and Bouchard and all the other people of power, if they are united, they can surely cut the tie. But I also want to see that the Liberian people living condition improve, their well-being, hospitals with medication, and people are able to find a job to do. People not being a stranger in their own country. We see how many contracts are giving to Lebanese and other people who take over the entire economy of our country. They get contract over Liberian contractors. I want to see that change. But I want to see a better future for our people. And I hope the opposition will come together, because they will bring force. If you have, for example, somebody said today, if you see, even if they are not going to form a collaboration, all of them come together, speak with one language, you know, it will it will make a big difference in Liberia. But we see here the Liberian people need help. You know, I hope the other 1 million can get other poverty, as they say another 1 million now living better. I hope that one can happen. I hope so if it's right. But Liberians are just going through a lot of hardship, especially around this festive season. You see, our people have become beggars in their own country. Beggars. I mean, they are begging. They are all over the place begging. So I want to see Liberians too being educated about what to vote for, who to vote for. What are some of the things they need to what are some of the indicators they need to look for when it comes to voting for a leader? Not just somebody who come and pull 100 bag of rice and tell you we'll do this, we'll bring the cake clean, we'll do this, and stuff like that, and nothing happened. I hope Liberians get to see who really care for them. Those running, you don't have to give you a bag of rice before you think they'll be a good leader. Let people go out there, educate our people on how to vote. I use my same old word, not instant gratification. Choose our policy. Choose our policy than instant gratification. Liberia is at a crossroad, and I hope our people will go out there and vote for their own interests. If you are living better today, or you need a change. Thank you.
Former Deputy Minister Fagon.
Well, I have a lot of expectations, but I'll just narrow it down to just but a few. Next year, many persons will suffer shock and awe. The Liberian political landscape will offer nothing more than shock and awe. That strange feeling of fear and wonders. That idea of, I did not expect it. And I'm saying it again, I want to repeat it. You know, Tomali, let me give you an example of what shock and awe looks like. Polito, we filled the stadium, all outside the stadium. We moved from Magay House, no space, straight to the party headquarters. We locked down the city beyond imagination. But when the results came, it was telling. We went to the by-election with vigor and zeal. I can send you pictures of that. When the results came, we were shocked. When George Weah put John Josiah hand up, it came back down. When George Weah introduced Polito Weah, she was not introduced or reintroduced, she was reduced. When George Weah offered Tombafala, we outspent our competitors 10-1. We lost. Zopena took over Grand Jide and announced, I am the godfather. Errol Madison stinking from the back. Prince Johnson lifted up the Papd, the professor. Sam laid him down. The vice president went into Banga and lifted our Kennedy hand up. A guy who was known for nowhere, Pape Collie. King just walked over here and stood up. Next year, you will see shock and awe. Why? We can sit here and look at all the pageantry, gallantry. We can sit here and look at crowd. Nobody knows better about crowd than Ben Sanvi with his people in the middle of the street, the integrity team. But they never saw daylight. 2023 elections, my expectations not better than the person that is so quiet and have not spoken a word. Like me, Kev, you, Dr. Francine, Dr. Peabody, and of course, the CEO. That person who have not said anything for the last 2 years, they're just waiting. You will know them because they have done it before again and again and again. My expectation for 2023, let me remind you, if we say Prince Johnson is the godfather to Nimba, as Jewel is the godmother to Bong, as Zopeno is to Grand Jide, ask yourself what happened in those elections. We're not talking about the presidency. So we suffer shock and awe. But the very people who did not respect President Weah when he said, take this, they said no. Take that, they said no. Take this, they said no. We don't want that lady. Okay, take my boy Thomas Falla. They said no. Those people are not dead. They are alive. And now we go towards the presidency. Every day we come here, we talk. But the majority in the country are not the ones talking. We are only 6 here. The majority in the country are the ones going to bed right now. They just closed their back door. As a matter of fact, they're going to lay down. The majority are the people who don't work in government. Government only accounts for about 77,000 workers. And the last time I checked, Monserrato put up almost 600,000 voters. And it is expected to be around 800,000 by the time the census is closed. Next year will bring shock and awe. And I pray to God we'll be in the trenches of history to make sure that our names are written in the book of our electoral processes. I respectfully submit on that note. Nothing more, nothing less.
Wow, a lot. That's the expectation for next year. Before I go to our closing, my expectation for next year, I can see a tough election next year. I see, and we share with the VP picks of the candidates in the race that are going against the ruling establishment. I see people getting together to force the opposition to sign a non-aggression pact where they won't attack each other, and they will all rally around whoever becomes a runner-off or so forth. If anybody should go run off with the ruling establishment, if they too go there too, I see them coming together to support one another. But I also see there'll be a lot of wheeling and dealings, and people will get exposed. I can see people being exposed. People will be exposed during that time where those who are for certain they claim to be with certain party, but they are playing games with the other parties and the ruling establishment. People will be exposed. I can see it happening. There are people who working in opposition, but also in touch with it. I mean, that's politics they're playing, but I see it being exposed. I see people coming to the forefront. We'll see, like you said, it will be a lot of shock. A lot of shock will happen. People will be exposed for the wheeling and dealings. The deals will be exposed, and Liberian people get to know them, and it will perhaps destroy the political career. Because if you're exposed that you play the double deals and you are caught, you just forget about politics because people will never trust you. But I also see a president who will be more vocal, like what we saw when he returned to the country. President Weah, most of the time, I can see him being his element. He won't speak with a prepared text. Look forward to see him on the campaign trail, being more vocal and talking more, attacking his opponents. You're going to see it. And the person you saw in 2017, where he didn't talk much, I can see him talking a lot this trip, because don't forget, seeking re-election is not like seeking the presidency for the first time. Re-election, you got to talk more, you got to be more engaged. So I can see there will be a lot of mudslinging, a lot of tough talking, and we expect to see tension. But we pray and hope that the stakeholders will provide security and ensure that elections held peacefully and with credible elections, and we're going to enjoy the election and make sure that Liberia select the leader of the choice. As I always say, we either have a re-elected President Weah or a new president come next year. So look forward to that. But with that being said, I will ask we give our closing statements so we can call this a day. Yeah. So, okay, CEO, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to play this because this is part of my closing, and probably Fagon, I mean, you said it right. Folks can argue with you, but it's very clear. We will just wait, hope for the best, that the Liberian people can benefit. But if you're hearing the voice of Musa Hassanbility making these remarks, James, can you play?
There will not be a ticket that will have ABC and Joseph Barker in 2023. There will not be. There will not be. I'm being very emphatic about that. What we need to push for is that the two parties, or as many oppositions, that need to agree that the strongest of them will eventually end up in a runoff with the CDC, and that the rest of the opposition can then go beyond that person. This is something that we are prepared to agree on. But if somebody want to attack the CPP, want to destroy the CPP, and then want for CPP to join them, look, if Mr. Cummings is not good to be president of Liberia, he's not good to be vice president. The purpose of being a president, the purpose of being a vice president is that you must be ready on day one to be president. So if you choose the man to be vice president, then he's got to choose him. He's got to be ready for president. So
the reason why I play that, when we, folks, I will say this and it's going to shock a lot of people out there. You either for or you against. No neutral ground.
The purpose of being vice president is to be president on day one. That is purpose.
Listen, we will play this thing to remind our folks. I will say this today, and I will wait till next week, Saturday, and I will say it again. This election season, for everything we are seeing, folks, you can talk about all the ills in the country. It's George Manneh we are election to lose. With all indications. If you got your own stuff, maybe we don't know. If you got something in the closet hiding, let us know. With all indications, this election remain President we are election to lose. We see a minister from information saying they only gave me 17,000. While you have United Nations have programs, World Banks have programs that you can go and tap into. You can put up a proposal, you can put a plan up and get money for the ministry. But you're waiting for Samuel Tua to give your ministry $1 million budget. George Manneh, we can't hang out with you to say how you must run your ministry or your entity. You talk about education. You talk about the healthcare system. You talk about food, the bread and butter, but there is no alternative. The reason why I beat on the opposition is because we want them to tell us what change are they bringing. Their change agent should speak. Fagon, you said it right. We will develop, produce rice in agriculture. Like how? Yes, my plan, A, B, and C. Through technologies, we will do this. We are not seeing it. We are not hearing it. When you push, they say go and look at the vision board. The old man that is sitting down in Brooklyn J, she don't know vision board. She even don't have no light. How she will put internet on? You got to tell the people. We are not saying give them for vote, no, but you got to educate them. You got to tell them. If you say everything President Weah is doing is so bad, he shouldn't be re-elected, then tell the people what make you better. Tell them. Sell yourself. Go back in history. Jackson F. Hospital. We can beat on this government. About 14 military. Redemption Hospital. The one in River says. We can beat on them. Bapadu Hospital coming up. But tell the people how you can make their life better. If you're a president and you're talking about health care, how many foreign doctors you will bring in the country? How you will bring the state-of-the-art equipment? Which hospital? Who are you talking to? Who is your medical advisor giving you plans? What are your team? When you talk about agriculture, who are you referring to? Let's know them. Oh, I will bring in Fagon when I talk about information ministry. He know a lot. I will bring in Dr. X. I will bring in Dr. B. They know a lot. They will help us change. When you talk about the economists, who are you bringing? I will bring in Sam Jackson. No, Sam Jackson is a bad man. Okay, I will bring in Dr. So-and-so. Very good at the economy. He's going to change the system. When you talk about finance, when you talk about LDC, what's your change? But every day you say, Kev Hassan a bad man, Timothy Josh a good man. But tell us what makes Timothy Josh better than Kev Hassan. Tell us what makes your government, your people, your organization, your party, your standard bearer better than George Weah. So I was sorry if I go in the rest of the team tonight. Just tell us. Don't just give us sweet talk. Don't just tell us, say, I'm better. I'm better like how? I worked before. I make it before. But this is Liberia we are talking about. You work in a system that was structured, in a system that confirmed you to live by the policies and procedures. You couldn't go above. You couldn't go outside of that. But this is Liberia we're talking about, Fagon. That when you drive to Newcombe, you see a bar road, somebody eating roasted cassava. There is no system. Tell us how you want to build the system. We shouldn't get mad. We're asking a good question. People want to go to bed happy. Security good. Who's your security advisor you're talking to? Who? Who's your security advisor you're talking to? Mr. Cummings said today, this country is scary, you know, things happening, funny things, mysterious death. When they're asking the question about the gun, should that negate the fact that your bodyguard is traveling with a gun illegally? And when they came back with the second question, he couldn't answer it directly. Your bodyguard is traveling with a gun illegally. Because the country is so bad, then go to the Justice Ministry. Go ask for security that will carry arms. You want to change the system? Do it the right way. Don't say I want to change the system and you're part of the system that is so damn bad. When Joseph Yima Barker time comes, we'll talk about JMB. I will close on this one. I will close on this, Sentiment George. Everything we know about President Weah, everything we know about this government, so be it. But if you sell in your candidate and you say my candidate is the best candidate to win October 10, 2023, convince me what make your candidate the best candidate. Show me what your candidate have done. And I will rest on this one because I will say this from somebody else. Liberia deserves better. You are the agent of change. Let us see it. Let us hear it. Let us know it. When all these opposition leaders behave like the way they are behaving, this election is President George Manawiya election to lose. I rest, and I beg you guys to go in the back. I'm still with you, but I'm going to go in the back for a minute. Thank you.
Thank you. Larissa, they are closing already, right? Or do you are closing? Yeah.
No, did you want me to say yes, Tomali? I did my closing.
Because
Yeah, I can speak on this because I have been in, working in a systemic way for a long time. So when you do that, systems are built on available information. They are not built on flowery, sweet talk, promises made to the people. And I say this because even when President Weah had a transitional team between Ellen Johnson Sirleaf and himself, they were supposed to, observe and probably review what Ellen government did and what they were going to move from. We see the president still came and made an inaugural speech saying that Liberia will no longer be a spectator in the country, that he was going to open the country up to investors. Go look at the speech, you will see when he said that line. So even with that experience, we see 5 years later, our country has not made any improvement in giving Liberians the opportunity to hold jobs, to be employed. So I'm saying this to amplify that you cannot tell Liberians, or if you're a candidate in waiting, you can't just come and say, oh, I'm going to give you how I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do this. You can project your vision, your ideas for the country. And you can also say, I'm tying my ideas given the information that I know. George Weah excuse to do is like, oh, I didn't know I didn't have enough money in the coffer. They didn't leave me enough money. Oh, I didn't know that nothing was built until I came in power, which is a lie. We said that this past week, a couple of days ago. It's so you imagine the potential of the country. And Mr. Cummings knows one thing for sure, is that Liberia is a beautiful country. The world is in love with ecotourism. Nobody wants to go live in 5-star hotels anymore. That's becoming an old thing. He knows that Liberia can attract tourists to the country by blowing up places like Cape Mount, places like Patawi, places like Maryland County. And he knows that Liberia is 10 hours away from the United States, where students can even go for spring break. Use our country that way. So those are the ideas that you put forth. He knows that studies upon studies, I can name you a couple of studies. I just finished writing a report on substance abuse in Liberia, have been done talking and using word data on substance abuse, primary education, secondary education, on rights insecurity, all of those things. We already have all of the studies. It's just a matter of finding experts that can sit down, review all of those studies, get on the ground, implement, test out those studies. And that's what you do in order for you to make pronouncements in terms of how I'm going to do this. And any candidate would be a fool to come and sit down and say, this is my toolbox for how I'm going to win an election. You don't talk about that now, okay? Even though you have it, you know it, but it's not something for the world to know. But what we know for sure, the facts is President Weah has failed, and I'm closing on this right now. He has failed our country in multiple ways, okay? People might want to come here and use, the Ebola, the COVID situation, the Ukraine crisis. Let's look at the other countries that are around us, They have surpassed us in many areas, okay, in terms of their economy, all right? And I know somebody just recently got the news about Ghana's economy, so somebody might want to use that as an example in their closing. Let's look at Ghana. But let's look at Sierra Leone. Let's look at how the other international companies are looking at these countries. And look at, compared to all of the money that African countries receive compared to Liberia, it was low. We didn't receive that much. When Mr. Cummings speaks about system, he speaks about ways that we are so tired of being a country where people just come and give us handout. Our president go and spend 49 days in a country to get handouts. We are sick and tired of getting handout because we have all the resources in our country. We need the right person to review agreements in Nimba when it comes to the Nimba Mountain. We need the right person to review agreements in Bumi when it comes to the Wodegasi Mountain. We need the right person to review agreement when it comes to our fishery industry. We need the right person to agree to put in the budget so that all of these different important areas, the healthcare sector, the education sector, the school sectors, I mean the education, I said that already, the education sector, the healthcare sector, the tourism sector, all those sectors at least could get money. But no, what our president does, he put in something called PSIP, Public Sector Investment Plan, where he alone gets millions of dollars just for counter touring, just for money that he can use at his own discretion. And those are all of the wrong things in our country that Mr. Cummings wants to change and bring in a more systemic government in our country where all Liberians can have the opportunity. Thank you.
Registering, Kev.
Thank you, Tommy. You know, Mr. Cummings used the word today. He said they asked him. He talked about the government, the president. He described it as delusional. But I think the ANC as a whole, including Mr. Cummings, as ANC as a whole, I think they're delusional. Mr. Cummings told them that it's a lie when the government met 514 million USD and 7 million 514 million LD and 7 million USD. We're talking about almost 14 million USD exchange rate and all that stuff. And the government, for months, we're looking at between 28 to 35 million to run a government monthly. Mr. Cummings told the ANC people that's a lie. The 14 military hospital was built. It's sitting there. Mr. Cummings told them that's a lie. There's no military hospital. You know, the Bapolo hospital being built is there. Mr. Cummings told them that's a lie. We're talking about roads. We're talking about roads around which we can see, we can feel. Minister Fagon, we was in office, he spoke on all this road, this 620 kilometers, both urban and roads. That include urban road and everything. Mr. Cummings told them that's a lie. Free education. Even one of our journalists who enjoyed that free education, free school fee at the University of Liberia, Mr. Cummings told them that's a lie. Even though it's there, people are enjoying it. He told them that's a lie. Free WAEC fee, Mr. Cummings told them that's a lie. And even though we have people who feeling those things, real people, Mr. Cummings telling them that's a lie. So if you listen to Mr. Cummings surrogates, they all say, Dala, Dala. How can one man program you just like that? And you know it's there. Even The invisible pack. Mr. Cummings told them that's a lie. How can one man program you, even though he's dead? Make you so delusional that you will come and just talk about things that are there, and you say, oh no, that's not true. Even though we've seen it. Even though they go there, you took their children there, they come and tell you that's a lie. How can we run a country like that? How can we have someone who running to become president far away from reality? Or he feel that he have to send misleading information to prove something, because he's dealing with a bunch of partisans that some of them don't even know what's going on in Liberia. I listen to them on different shows, and I say to myself, I say, wow, they don't even know. If you listen to Mr. Cummings, you can tell that this man is really out of touch with the reality in Liberia. Tomlin George, I'll say this. You have to tell the people what you can do. You have to. Yeah, some people say, oh, you don't have to do anything. It's not this, you can. But let me tell you one thing. Even Donald Trump did something before he became president. Biden. Obama, he was a community organizer to less fortunate. That's something. Minister Fagon, that's something. You got to do something. The notion of which you can fly from the sky and come and say, I am the guy. Who are you? Even before you make it to heaven, you got to do something. We're not talking about, say, oh, if you build a hospital, that's a plus. But do something, especially to a nation that was crying. Especially to a nation that was sisters. Become prostitutes around the wall, based on this wall. And that's a hard fact. We saw some of our sisters and we cried for them because of this war. You sat down in the comfort of your home and you want to tell us that you can do something for us. We know you're not. Tomlin George. So what we're talking about, my brother, we're not saying you have to build hospitals. That's a plus. But what they are saying and the connection, if you have a connection that can put somebody on sanction, why can't you make a connection to build something in Maryland? So you have a connection and show picture at the Senate and say, look at us. The following week, you sanction people. But what about Ma Mary in your country? She can't eat. She can't eat. I'll leave you with this. Mr. Cummings said today, he said, the country is on autopilot. I will ask everybody here. Mr. Cummings today praised this government based on what he said on autopilot. That when you're on autopilot, if we all fly in a plane before, if that plane is on autopilot, meaning that it's stable, no turbulence, nothing. It's stable. So if Liberia is on autopilot, means Liberia is stable. The economy is stable. Nothing going. That's what he's saying. You cannot say something on autopilot. When the plane is on autopilot, it means it's stable. I know.
Hold on 1 minute. I'm sorry to interrupt. Dr. Richardson, why are you being surprised at what he said?
Because in the modern world, when we use the word autopilot, we don't imply stability. It just means that something is just moving. There's no control. A turbulence could happen. Things could tumble and stuff like that. It doesn't mean stability, like everything is okay. When you say autopilot, it's a negative connotation. It's not a good thing. That's why I'm looking like, what? But go ahead.
Okay.
At what time? I know you say it's a negative connotation that Rich is saying. It all depends who using it, though. So can you say that Kev's interpretation of the autopilot is unique as well? Because let me just finish this there. If you use autopilot on a different level, the plane is above 35,000 feet and everything is okay, then the pilot turn on, put the plane in the autopilot, and everybody cruising. Correct, Dr. Richardson? Can you help us? That happens so often if I fly.
Okay, so when people use the common autopilot in this modern society that we live in, and not in a concrete sense, like how it's being used right now, that means that there's no anything, even a monkey can make it work. Okay, even a fly can make it work. That means there's no method. There's no.
So to each his own with the interpretation, correct?
I want to say that. I don't want to say that.
Why not?
Because it's a negative connotation when something is on autopilot.
All depends who make it a negative connotation, though.
Well, if 9 out of
you're a professor now.
If 9 out of 10 people, Stanton, says something is used negatively,
does that mean that it's used negatively because it's not 10 over 10?
Well, especially people who are pretty sophisticated in this area of understanding, yes. That means that if these people are just nobody.
It doesn't matter that if you're sophisticated, then that's why driving the question and the argument. It doesn't matter about your sophistication. Your interpretation could be different from the next person's interpretation. Correct?
No.
In a sense, if the plane is on autopilot, the plane is on autopilot. Everything is fine. Everything
Nobody's
is
in control. Use this analogy.
Yeah, but let me finish this stuff. Everything is fine. Everything is fine. Like you put your car on cruise control. Yet and still you're behind the wheel, though. Somebody must manage it. In case of an emergency, they are there to manage it. Kev's interpretation, you will not say his interpretation is wrong because you guys, but hold on now. Yeah, because you guys are in the sophistication level. So to you it's wrong, but his interpretation also holds water. If you say the country is on autopilot, it means that the country is above 35,000 feet. It means that everything is okay, then everybody cruising. In case of emergency, the leader is there. That's Kev's interpretation. Your interpretation is a negative connotation you add into it. Even a monkey, it will hit the turbulence and there will be no control. But Kev's interpretation say no, it's on autopilot. The president is right there. Watch it.
And that is
it's based on the interpretation. If you talk about the sophistication, let me just finish real quick. If you talk about the sophistication and the intelligence and your own interpretation, do not impose it on Kev and saying that Kev's interpretation is wrong, because only you should be correct with your negative connotation added. So go ahead, man.
So and this is what makes Kev's interpretation wrong. Okay, we are tying autopilot of a plane to a country where we have a president that's being paid by taxpayer and donors. Okay, so why should we say that a president is just there just in case something happens? Is he just there to get a paycheck every month? So this is why autopilot is not a good connotation. It is wrong.
Yeah, but
I'm not enforcing my own views. I know how autopilot is used in many contexts. In this context, it is very wrong, Kev.
Let me finish. Let me tell you this. Most people around. Let me finish. Most people around the world would call the American economy, especially some places like Coca-Cola, it's an autopilot system. It's stable.
Another wrong analogy. Another wrong thing.
But getting a chance to finish, man, Dieter.
Guys, you guys don't take it different level. We're gonna go to the book now.
So
you can just finish up, please. So that
your meaning, what your meaning is up to you. But let me say this.
I got a surprise guest for y'all to tell you hello before the show was. Y'all finish right now.
But let me say this. Let me say this, guys. If you cannot tell us what you're going to do, you cannot tell us what you're going to do for, like the ANC surrogates will say, oh, you will blow up this. How are you going to blow up Kipma? Or maybe you get bombed to blow up Kipma. But how are you going to blow up Kipma? What are you doing to blow up Kipma? I will raise the budget to 1 million. How? I urge everybody to listen to Mr. Cummings' speech. Go to the past. He will never tell you how. And he will never tell you, he will never come down to healthcare. He will never tell you what he will do with healthcare. He will never tell you anything about education. He will just speak randomly. Listen. But don't be fooled by a man who worked in the autopilot company. He was there, but that company was already stable. When they took him and they brought him into a system like the CPP system with the 4 parties, what happened? What happened with Mr. Cummings? He ended up in court. When they brought him into that system to call for a rally, what happened? Within his own rally, he fooling the people who tired suffering. He projects himself. Open your eyes. Listen well. This man is a complete crook. Arrest.
Peabody.
Yeah, I got to run in a few minutes, but let me just do my closing.
Why not just run and just leave the closing? The family is waiting for you. Just run.
See, I'll put it back right now. Let me say a very interesting conversation here tonight. Our projection for 2023 and what we want to see happen. But let me say this in my closing. We will go down in history as the first country, where our president fly private jet on every little trip for a very poor country that even gone through harmonization and all of that. And if some of those money that could be used to help our suffering masses are used on private jet, we'll go down in history as one of our presidents that traveled for 48 days out of the country. And 48 days, we made history and came back with commitment from people. We seen overnight wealth in our country. Somebody's given a job today, and the next thing, in about 6 months, they have become a millionaire, whatsoever. We also see, are listening to the Minister of Information. A whole country information ministry is operating on a $17,000 budget. No wonder why information are not disseminated the right way in Liberia. Media propaganda and all of that. It's not disseminated because you sending 17,000. That could probably buy a generator for about a month. I mean, a fuel for a month. There's a lot that our crew go on saying. We have a lot of unsolved murders and death in that country. Unsolved, but the police can have intelligence to arrest a man who had been carrying a gun, who worked with other leaders before in the past. The intelligent only work when it comes to mass rallies and protests, then the intelligent work. But I think on little Cynthia who died, and think of those 3 little children, 3 young men that have not been found. Nothing has happened. Nothing will be heard about them. This is Christmas season. It's a time for family to be together and spend time together. Others will not see the children, will not have a closure to what happened to the children. I think that Rebecca Don Ninswa in Rhode Island, with her beautiful kids, are still dreaming over what happened to Daddy. So much. As one who traveled in that country, length and breadth of that country, people don't know. Some people will just sit on the show and cuss. What have you done? You sit in America eating chicken. But I've been to the length and breadth of that country. More than 10,000 people are today drinking free water. Kids in Bassa Nima are benefiting from school building that we built. That's our duty. We don't want to be leader. CEO has spent thousands of dollars there helping. The coronavirus, where people were educated, people were trained, hundreds of thousands of dollars. What I'm saying here is that our people, it's in your hand. It's right in your hand. Are you better off today? If somebody take the initiative, if I was to take the initiative, I said I was very fortunate to come to America and go back home. I want to help my people. Maybe running as a president running. At the time, I was not there to give you handout because I didn't have it. If I come to America and get a training and work for a $1 billion industry and lead. I see Joe Boakai, who has spent most of his years working and giving back to the Liberian people. They all want to lead.
Preach.
It's in your hand. It's in your hand. It's in your hand, the Liberian people. The decision you make today is in your hand. The person you vote for is in your hand. Liberia has a crossroad. If you are okay today, then just keep your hand together. Hold it together. But I can see there's a lot of things that happened over the year. We have made history for so many things. Different media have made fun out of us. Liberian people in your hand. I will hope that the opposition can one day, even if they're not going to come together, just hold hands and walk down Broad Street and other places with one message that is in your hand. The selection of a leader is in your hand. That's my closing, bro.
Thank you, Dr. Peabody. We'll now go to the former Deputy Minister of Information and Public Affairs of the Republic of Liberia. The Honorable
1 minute. 1 minute on that, please. 1 minute for him. One.
Fagon. And the newly presidential candidate for 2023. Go ahead. Breaking news for tonight.
Oh, thank you. Let me say this first and foremost. This American analogy used always in our politics. It's never worked. It's not working and will never work. For example, when you as a politician say the country is on autopilot, I have never seen a plane that has been put on autopilot without a pilot in the cockpit. If we find one, it will be the Basikta that is being used now in the Russian-Ukrainian war. Those things are piloted by themselves, but yet they have people at controls on the ground. I say this to say that if you have someone who's putting a real spin on that analogy, every plane that is flying, it must be a pilot that puts it on autopilot or the people in the control tower. But normally when the plane is put on autopilot, it means either the pilot passed out or the pilot himself decided to put it on autopilot and take a rest because it is stable. So where are we with this whole autopilot thing? I think
I tell you,
would have served himself to say, as president of the nation, you are the father of the nation. What kind of father you are? Rest say on you or cheering you come. I think he would have served himself well. But having said that, I'm not a spokesperson for the government. I'm not a spokesperson for George Weah and the CDC. I just am a seditious.
Talking about autopilot.
My man, I'm a town.
So, no, sorry, my man. You're funny too much.
No, the money president we are gave you to come work now. Yeah, you coming to work in my town.
My man, stop that kind of talk, man. My man, stop that kind of talk. Nobody
no, Stanton, you Stanton. I like the way Tomali post Stanton on top of you. You are on Stanton. You just stay on your side. Now, if I'm beginning to see something that a lot of people are not seeing, and what I am seeing is this hype that is being created that somehow President Weah have got it easy. I don't think so. My brother, if you've ever baked bread before, you will know that cornbread, you just wake up one morning and become cornbread. They got egg in it, nutmeg, flour, sugar, milk, a lot into it. I agree with Stanton when he says this is an election for President Weah to lose. He's coming from the backdrop that he is the incumbent. He has the resources. But I'm looking at President Weah and saying Stanton is right. But the tools, the manpower, the expertise that President Weah used in 2017, are they still around, Tomali? About 90% of them gone. I was a senior strategist and a senior media personnel in that machinery. Let me name a few for you. Of the all I know, Jefferson Chelsea, Kwame Weeks, and Wahadi from Gender, Pisota. But Dwana is out. Eugene Fagon is out. Wozi is out. What a ball name from ERBC. Boima JV Boima is out. All of these strong militants and soldiers, the media, they're all out. And what I see is that President Weah, over the 5 years, like I read, brought the Papd and told the people what he will do over the next 5 years. What I see is that the pillars of the Papd will come on a strenuous attack. And I want to warn all of you. Pillar number one, President Weah promised power to the people. You have referent power. You have legitimate power. We're talking about politics. It's different kinds of power. How many of those does he actually give the people? And people will begin to shred it. Pillar number two, the economy and jobs will come under attack. Did he create jobs? Let's discuss the economy. Yes, inflation dropped to single digits, but did we lift 1 million people out of poverty? Or did we plunge by way of the harmonization more people into poverty than we lifted, incorporating the high taxes and revenues? in order to bolster the $800 aggressive budget that we sought to present to the Liberian people. Pillar number 3, sustaining the peace. Will he be able to put together that team that would defend him? Because, careful say, he sustained the peace. We had no external aggression to Mali George. We had no attack on our sovereign nation. There was no coup d'etat. Yes, we are not at war. But what is peace when I cannot leave my house after 6 p.m.? What is peace when I must go to bed like chicken or be walking with my money in my brief? What is peace if drugs litter the nation and ghettos are the new hubs for hangouts? What is peace? They will have to defend that. And pillar number 4, governance and transparency. If you did not pass the last 3 pillars, how did you govern? And if we go by anything, were you transparent? I'm asking these questions because I know Ledger, who has made it clear that he is a professional. I know Eugene Nangbe just returned and he has been defending the government. But I'm looking for that person, Dr. Papd, that will have to defend the party and propagate the party's platform to the people. Politics is like a marketplace. We go to sell. Cummings, Bwakai, and others will be yelling, "Fan, fan, boni." Where will the seditions be? Who will be yelling for them? Cuckoo pony, dry pony, and seasoning it with chicken soup and pepper. A dry in Cape Man. We bought it yesterday. It's fresh. Who will be doing that for the CDC? Because the last time I checked, all of CDC's 5 state generals are all gone. Their strategists, advisor, and media gurus are no more. Who will do that for them? So as I look back now, and I look forward to 2023, I worried for President William more than any of you on this platform. And the reason I say so is because when we get to next year, the same things we faced over the last 4 years will confront us. And this time, it will be a double-edged sword. One side for the presidency and the other side for legislators. President Weah will be more focused and concentrated on his presidency. All the other people hanging out with the CDC, where would they be? Every monkey will have to carry his own tail. How prepared is the CDC for 2023? So as I look back now, I listen to Dr. Papd, the Liberian people will decide. You damn sure they will. They decided in Grand Jide. They decided in Bong. They decided in Nimba. Oh yes, they decided. When we said this is the way, they said no, we will decide. And they decided. Be afraid, because the crowd you saw in red beret and blue, we have seen 3 times more that crowd. And yet we lost. My friend, there is a silent majority. And we're not talking to them because they're not listening to us. That's why they're not talking. If they were listening to us, you will hear them speak. But they don't speak. For now, only 0.001% of the country is shouting, chattering all about the place. When the over 99% get ready to speak, you will either listen or be forced to listen. It will not be bullets, it will be ballots. It will not be microphones and speakers escorted by bags of rice in a truck or money loaded in bags. It will be the time to test the resolve of the Liberian people. I respectfully submit on that note. See you guys then if I see you.
That's the
You
voice
should not mean fagging.
the voice of the former Deputy Information Minister for Public Affairs and the newly presidential candidate, Eugene Lamin Fagon. Before I let the
I'm considering Stanton as a VP pick. Australia.
I mean, 30 seconds, please. 30 seconds, man. 30 seconds.
I didn't say I'm picking you. I say I'm considering.
Considering. Yeah.
I understand. I beg to reconsider your consideration.
Do not attempt to attempt. The
So, guys, look,
have attempted to tempt you in a temptuous way.
Guys, let me, for program note, the Vice President of the Republic of Liberia, Dr. Chief Joel Howard, will be our guest on Saturday. We look forward to seeing you guys tune in to listen to the Vice President of the Republic of Liberia and the President of the Liberian Senate, Chief Joel Howard Taylor. But another thing, the newly elected political leader of the Movement for Democracy and Reconstruction, MDR, Senator Jeremiah Pancon, say wish you guys Merry Christmas, and he look forward to appearing on our platform in the next few days. So we'll be having him soon and to engage him. He want to say,
well, we want to ask you,
Merry Christmas.
Elected chairman,
political leader.
Also, Prince Johnson stepped down.
Yeah, that's in history now. Prince Johnson history. Jeremiah Pancon is the newly elected political leader of the Movement for Democracy and Reconstruction.
Good man, good guy. Jeremiah Pancon is good man.
Yeah. And on the issue about who are discussing about that Autopilot, y'all check a workout euphemism. Y'all check that word out. But anyway, y'all check out the show.
No,
but
so
it's been a great.
Wait. Good day. Put a picture up. We got Jeremiah Cohn. We got their meetings. All right. Let's just show to the folks. Jeremiah Cohn, he's a very friendly guy. We know him. Taking over the party from Prince Johnson. We'd like to ask him why now? Why Prince Johnson have relinquished power? And the convention was all white ballot because nobody could have gone against Prince Johnson. Well, he handpicked everybody he wanted. All right. James, is the picture up? Can we please show some of the programs? So we want to say congrats to Jeremiah Cohn, and we'll probably bring him to the Thursday. I thought we could bring him on Friday, but let's reach out to him. If he can confirm to appear on Friday, we'll be glad to have him. James Goodey, please put up the picture. I have the photos, from the convention. Jeremiah Cohn, there you go. Guys, we're going to run through Prince Yedu Johnson, Senator Jeremiah Cohn. Show the rest of them, James, please. Only the James picking can take forever. James, good day. I sent you 10 photos. Can you please open the photo, James? 10 of them and upload them, please.
At the convention there, right?
Yeah, that's that's the convention after party.
I remember way back in the day, the True Party, I used to do the convention. You just sit down and say, okay, you chairman.
Prince Johnson got a blue cell phone. We got a
Jeremiah Pancon, JK Square.
It'd be interesting to know what led to his step down. Was it any factors?
I think you can ask Eugene Fagon, or we'll wait for Jeremiah Cohn. Maybe he will explain.
Okay, that's
because
what about asking for other spokesman?
That you're negotiating on behalf of the party for the money, so they will ask you.
So as we conclude for today,
James,
right?
what's the picture, James? You hold on 1 minute, few seconds.
Yeah, while waiting for the picture. I'll wait for the picture. When we met the president in Liberia in February, he promised us that he was going to appear on our platform when he returned from Belgium. So the promise is still up, and going forward, I will be on it every day, asking the president. I'm still waiting for him to appear on our platform. He promised us you're going to appear. President, we are calling you again. We're looking forward to see you this coming year appear on Spoon platform. Baga came on, your vice president came on, Cummings came on, Taiwan came on. Want to see the president of Liberia coming on. Even Cassette came on. So, President, we are looking forward to seeing you appear on our platform this coming year.
You're the friend to the president. Why make the announcement if you can just call him or text him?
But I mean, honestly, I just want he putting me on.
What are you laughing for? Why make the announcement if you can professionally write him a letter and invite him?
Man, the president agreed to all of them, man. In principle now. He already made he agreed. So just reminding him about his agreement at all.
So they go to Tomorrow, George. The pictures are loading. You have this one from the convention hall. Prince Johnson have stepped aside. And Jeremiah Kuhn now is a stand-up bearer for that party. We need to understand why. Why now? You got to know that Jeremiah Kuhn is not running for re-election. Prince Johnson is. You got to know about the relationship between Prince Johnson party and CDC. Why now is very, very important. We want to understand and see that skeleton that is in the closet. Is Prince Johnson avoiding something? Is he to the place now that he will not negotiate because of sanction? Why now is very important. But the newly elected or appointed stand-up bearer will be the one to speak on these things. Let's just give you some picture, as you can see, their convention. We'll ask James to share these photos, put it on our page, on all the Spoon social media outlets. James, please do. You can go and see for yourself. It's very interesting. Since we just
But let me ask this question. Why are we getting these people on a picture we never got LPDP on? Just a question to anybody who can answer it.
There will be no one that can answer it because there is no LPDP partisan on set. 2, they didn't send us their photos. This photo was taken by one of our reporters who sent it to us.
Kev, please get LPDP people to send all the pictures from the convention, yeah, because they had a convention, so they should have informed the Liberian people. James Barney spoke at that convention, and you don't want to hear what he said. I will not talk it yet. But
really?
Yeah, so we need to know what happened.
I'll contact James Barney. Maybe he can appear on the show, maybe.
Malu was there. Malu attended the convention, and I just a couple of days thing we're talking about. So we need to know, Kev, you can reach out to them.
My man, if you call Malu name, Malu that your man, call Malu. Don't put Kev in your situation. Call Malu, he'll give you your picture.
Why you? I didn't somebody just put Kev on here again, yeah? They're on one side now.
Well, guys, look, we want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas. And before I go, I got a deaf news. I know you can say I can say what I want to say. I know you say what I want to say. The NPP lost one of their stalwart today, George Howell.
All that draws.
Condolences, George Howell, stalwart of the NPP. And also one of our big brother in Rhode Island, TG Sharp, Zach Sharp. My condolences to the family on the death of TG Sharp. Condolences to you all. But the NPP, your loss was stalwart today, so condolences to the NPP family. And with by extension, the coalition. I think I said by extension, the coalition. But anyway, my last advice to everybody, look, going forward next year, I pray and hope that if you're banned Liberian politics, you understand that anything can happen in politics. I would urge us to I mean, frankly, if you choose to do it, it's up to you, but let us be respectful to all the candidates, including the president of Liberia. The president of Liberia, people who insult the presidency, they are wrong. We should condemn it. It's not a good thing to do. Let us not insult the institution of the Liberian presidency. That's something I've come to realize, that we insult people with all no remorse. You know, we shouldn't be insulting Boycott, attacking his health, and even Cummings, and Tiawan Gonglo and Cassell. All those who were even the new Canadian race, Fagon. So any one of these guys. So I pray and hope that we respect them next year going forward and use our best time to always say, look, may the best Canada win. Fight for your Canada, but do not insult. Thank you. Merry Christmas. And
don't forget Saturday, the VP.
Saturday, the Vice President of Liberia will be our guest.
Yeah, it will be wonderful.
So thank you.
Happy birthday to my cousin, Merlin. I love you. So
Thank you, boss. You have a good night.
Bye-bye.
Where is Yekezi? He fell asleep. Zoe, I mean, put your James, you are muted.
Yeah, I'm calling him, but no.
You calling him, you can't answer. The man fell asleep though.
After 12 in Liberia, maybe.
Yeah, after 12, right? Yeah, 12.
Yeah.
Yekezi, let him come. Let me make sure he's okay. He's gonna be on.
Yeah, I'm still calling him.
You still calling him?
Yeah.
James, good day.
Yes, sir.
Man, how's the Christmas? I worked too hard. Listen, I worked too hard today. I'm tired.
I know.
And it's raining. Yeah. What did you do today?
Come on.
Tell him to wake up and come on the show.
The phone just ringing. Let me call Magic.
Hey, Philip, bad man. I won't leave my picking hanging alone, Philip. So I said goodbye, but I had to come on. There you again, tell me. Philip.
Oh God.
Jonathan Tunnel. Eric Roberts. You gotta wait, Eric. You're what she coming to see my man. Jen, say that one jump. I say what's up.
Oh, I'm okay.
You know, say that one.
Who?
Say that one. You say who? You say you're okay. Then you say, well, Charlene LRB,
No,
Hashem Fambala, Tracy Wilson. Good morning from Dubai.
Yes, because he put his studio on Autopilot.
Yeah, you can see put on Autopilot like that. Richardson said.
Liberian people.
You can see waiting on you, man. Come on.
Yes, he put his station on Autopilot.
But somebody, listen, go into the chat room and just tell someone to call you because he call somebody.
Yeah, I think I got to call him on your Liberian number. I'm calling nowhere.
Which is, yeah, you can see.
Yeah, because he will put his station on Autopilot.
He put us on Autopilot, though. Someone please SOS call. Are you serious? You can see.
The police station Autopilot.
You can see what's happening, my brother. What's happening, my piggy? I understand. You tired, right?
It's after 12.
You can see you tired.
Yeah, yes, of course, I'm tired.
Yeah. But you're okay, right?
Tired.
You're okay, right?
Yes, I'm okay.
All right, beautiful. Thank you very much for the wonderful show, man. Please,
Thank you.
Be safe going home, okay?
All right.
And we'll see you again. Thank you. Have a good night.
All right.
All right. Yeah, you can